Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast for the 30th of September 2014. 'Tis a wonderful day, is it not?
It is.
I was hoping you'd say it's not.
It's dark and dreary here, so...
Really? I mean, it looks like you're next to a fire, honestly. That's not dark and dreary, come on!
Alright, okay, I guess...
It does look like you're ascending,
here.
John.
Oh, Jesus God, my eyes!
Whoa!
No!
How is that dark?
Oh my God,
One of
way
the
worse.
sunniest cities in Canada. It is like 15 degrees Celsius and raining.
Fuck, did you have to bring the light of Elendil to the show? I mean, come on!
That is such a Canadian thing. Like, it's so dark and dreary, and the sun's out, and like there are people singing in the streets. Like, oh, it's so dark today. They're
God,
like,
if only
welcome to
people were
Canada.
happy.
Welcome to Canada. Everyone's
Only half
cheering
the people are singing today, man. What's going on?
It reminds me of when I headed over to Sweden, and it was in the middle of the winter, and you think, oh, Sweden, dark and dreary, right? No, blinding, because sun and white snow. Go outside, instantly your retinas start burning. It's terrible.
I bet.
I have two pairs of sunglasses in my car specifically for when it snows, so it's that bad.
Wait, you layer
I put one
them?
over the other.
Yeah, well, that's what I do for
amazing.
these. That's what I do with these. Like, where are my 3D glasses here? I have to put on glasses over my glasses so I can actually see anything half the time.
Oh
Oh,
God.
man.
I may just need better glasses.
It is
a thing,
possible.
yeah.
I mean, it's good that you brought that up. Welcome to
There we
the
go.
Co-Optional
Those,
Podcast.
Perfect.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, yes, that's perfect.
It's also very hard to see the three of you right now.
I would imagine it would be. To
They're
be
so
fair, that's
bad.
probably a bonus most of the time. Welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games. Our special guest today is the one and only ProtonJon. Welcome to the
Hi,
show.
you've probably never heard of me.
Well, if that is the case, then why don't you explain to them who you are and what you're doing here?
Uh-oh. I don't know what I'm doing here. I was asked to be, so I decided to show up.
There's
But,
that.
Canadian honesty.
There you go.
I don't know why I'm here.
No, I'm actually super happy to be here. I was super nervous, and more than anything, even though I've talked to Dodger and Jesse before. This is my first time actually properly talking to TV.
Which is weird because we sort of know each other in passing from many
Yeah,
forums
more or less.
ago, don't we? Yeah,
Yeah, from Something Awful and stuff like that.
indeed. We're all refugees, I suppose, from something awful. I think we both kind of stopped posting there at around the same time and just don't dare to ever go back.
More or less, I made a couple mistakes. I mixed personal business in a little bit too much. So
Yeah, I made
But,
mistakes like posted stupid shit about my IQ in 2007, and no one's ever let me forget it since.
I am smarter than all of you.
I wear that
Whoa,
thing
whoa,
as
whoa, whoa,
that
whoa.
is a battle scar that I wear. Like, that reminds me of how, like, I wake up one day and it's like, did I do something stupid today? Yes. But was it as stupid as that? No. Okay,
I
we're
totally
good.
have things in my
That's
life
the
like that
bar?
where I'm like,
That's-
it wasn't as bad as that thing that I did in 6th grade, so I'm good.
Wait, whoa. Did you try to win an internet fight by going, my IQ is...
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I actually opened
Oh,
with that.
TV.
It was so fucking... I must have been high. Like, that's the... I posted it, I think, at university. I can't even remember the night that I posted it, but... I don't know. I mean, drugs might have been involved, but to be fair, that would be an excuse. I'm going to take full responsibility for that horrible post. It's like, I apologize to the internet for that.
Oh, my God.
Jesus God. Oh, wow.
I'm starting to feel like being part of the Something Awful forums was a prerequisite to being on YouTube. I feel like literally
good.
everyone
Pretty
that I
much.
know
It was.
was involved in that.
Yeah, and a lot of them now just kind of don't post there anymore, but SA was, and probably still is, the best forum I've ever posted on. It comes along with...
because of the paywall. That's
Yeah,
why.
the
because
paywall
it
helped a
kinda-
lot.
Yeah, it kept out a lot of the idiots because they didn't want to pay $5 to post.
Yeah, and you had to post the things like change your icon. I like the feature which allowed you to change someone else's...
Oh man.
So after 6 years, I'm going to make a confession. So I used that feature to... there was this guy who posted about his car loan, yeah? And he was basically he was threatening to go to the media because he'd apparently got screwed over on his car loan. And the thing is, he posted his contract, and then a bunch of people looked at it, and it's like, hang on, man, this was like up front Like, he paid far too much for this car, and the title of the thread was, I got screwed in my car loan, and I'm going to the news. Like, it was in GBS, I think. And people started tearing him apart because it was so obvious. And I changed his thing to say, ask me about my $40,000 luxury vehicle. It was there for like 2 years. It was...
Oh, man.
SA was good times at times, I gotta say.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I learned a lot from the LP forum. Like, that was an amazing resource for learning how to not suck.
It still kind of is. There's a lot of good tech stuff there.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a lot of the like guys who were there from the start are still there, and they'll just post like casually, like, "Hey, here's what I tried out today."
Yeah, absolutely. I remember getting reamed for saying that MPEG-2 was an acceptable file format. And it's like, you are an idiot. Like, they were right. I was an idiot. Now I use MPEG-4. It's much better.
.flv is making a comeback. That's what's happening.
Absolutely. .flv, the most impossible format to ever edit ever.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't know what it is about that.
I hate FLV so much.
Oh, it is horrible. So, as official hater of FLV, Dodger, welcome to the show.
Hi, good to be here. Coffee makes me poop. Excited to be part of the show.
So proud of it. You put it on your mug.
Yeah, so proud that I put it on my mug.
For fucking everything. So.
And here's my confession. Since TB confessed a thing, here's my confession.
All right, cool.
I was never ever once involved in the Something Awful forums. I think I'm like the only person.
Yeah, you were the only person on the entire internet not to.
The only person on the entire internet that was not involved.
You're on Online.
I didn't have a live journal, and I wasn't on DeviantArt. So really, what was I even fucking doing? Like,
is Google the only site you used?
I think we've learned that Dodger does nothing. Like, she has no art talent. She can't write to save her life, and she has no comedy skills or snark skills. Because really, what do you do? I think we've learned that you've done nothing.
I watch anime. And I play video games.
Could that have sounded any more pitiful? I don't know. Let's ask the expert in pitiful. Jesse, welcome to the show.
Ooh.
Thanks. There's a thing that I saw today that was, I think it was the Co-Optional Podcast drinking game, and the take mega shots one was whenever TB insults one. So if you
that
are
would kill thousands.
I was gonna say, do people die?
I feel like people are already drunk. So, hi, how's it going? I'm excited to be here. That's it. I've got no secrets.
No secrets.
I know that part of that game is every time I eat, take a drink. But
and every time you move a cat.
We exploited that a while back.
Yeah.
I have the list in front of me right now.
Okay.
Do tell.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so the Co-Optional Podcast drinking game. Apparently, this is the simple rules edition.
Oh, okay. So
take
there's
a
an
drink.
advanced edition.
Yeah.
Can I get
We
like the
need
4th
simple.
edition expansion? Is that a thing?
That'll be coming next post.
Oh, okay.
Drink when TB is out of view. Jesse goes off topic.
Okay.
Oh god, drunk already.
Jesse acts like a pervert, penis jokes included.
Okay, now everyone's
Go
dead.
on.
Having their stomach pumped, but okay.
Dodger eats something. Mm-hmm. Dodger removes a cat from her desk, and there's a subtitle that I cannot read. For some reason, the picture is like really small. The guest tells a funny joke, so we can just scratch that one out. The guest has been silent for a long time. You're going to be getting used to that one. Someone disconnects.
That's the one where people died during Husky's episode, I think.
Oh, God. I heard about that one.
The legend tells.
The legend tells of Husky's bad internet.
There was one show where I actually had to kick a guest off because he was so terrible, and Husky's show was still worse than that one. Oh dear. It's like, don't bring on someone that only plays StarCraft to talk about other video games. It doesn't work.
What if he talks about mods of other games that are in StarCraft?
That would have been
That would
wonderful for the 5 minutes it would have taken to cover them all.
Oh god.
What else here? Someone disconnects. Someone feels insulted by an opinion.
Oh.
Really? I don't think most of us do that.
It's rare. We have rare like
do we
tips
count
where I
chat for
feel
that?
like it's
Is that
legitimate
how it works?
feelings. You know?
Oh, I feel like if you're going to count the internet as a whole for getting insulted by an opinion,
God.
You might as well just
IV.
not stop
Hook
drinking.
Hook it in.
Just die. You're just dying already.
Someone mentions FOV sliders.
That's Dodger 100% of the fucking time. I never mention it. It's you, Dodger. You bring it up.
What are you talking
Dodger.
about? Jesse
Yeah,
makes all
Dodger.
those jokes.
Pushing that
What?
shit as a catchphrase, and I hate
It's not
it.
me. What are you talking about?
Dodger. Oh my God. Why don't
Jesse,
you stop?
I hate you.
Well,
Jesse,
someone's been
stop.
insulted by an opinion. Okay,
Oh,
carry
there
on.
we go. Drink. Then there are 3 hardcore mode rules.
Oh, okay.
These are the big ones.
How could it be
These are mega
even
drinks?
worse than what you just mentioned?
Let's
These
see.
like double shots. What are these?
Jesus.
Drink when TB directly insults someone.
Okay.
We're good so far. Continue.
Drink when there are technical difficulties.
You're already drunk today, so
So thank me for that one. And someone on the podcast mentions YouTube.
Oh, for fuck's sake, really?
I feel like that one's cheating.
can it be a
that's
discussion
hardcore.
occurs where we complain about YouTube? I think
Yeah,
that's
that
a
would be
little bit
better.
more.
Like, let's complain about our perfect lives. Let's just
I mean, we
You
do,
know
we
what's
do that.
the worst?
making videos on the internet. That's a terrible fucking thing. Let me complain about it. Right? This is
would
why
do
we
that?
have our support group, so we can bitch with people that won't judge us for it.
Wait, there's a support group.
Yeah, we have a support group. We should bring you into that.
I
Well,
would appreciate that.
We'll see. This is
Oh,
your
don't do
initiation.
that.
If you do well on the
Drink.
show,
Everybody
no.
drink.
This is your initiation, John. The overlords are watching you.
if you do well on the show,
Shit, am I joining the Illuminati?
you must
You are
impress
now.
the
You
Grand
are.
Wizard, and then you may join. Welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast. We occasionally talk about video games. Let's talk about the games that we've been playing this week, and we'll start, of course, with our guests. John, what have you been playing this week? What's been going on?
I started off with the brand new hotness from Nintendo called Hyrule Warriors.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That is a Dynasty Warriors game, if any.
It is.
I've had so many people ask me, like, would I like Dynasty Warriors? And literally the only question I can respond to them with is, do you like Dynasty Warriors? If yes,
Yes.
yes. If no, no.
That is
Yeah,
literally the
that's exactly
only
what Jesse said
qualifier you
last
could
week.
ever use for that. When someone's like, well, would I like it? I don't know. Do you like it? It's
I
like
will
Dynasty
say-
Warriors is a genre of its own, you know?
The big monster battles for me were surprisingly Zelda-y. Everything
Yeah.
up to the monster battles are like extremely Dynasty Warriors. But when you have to fight a monster, you have to think more along the lines of, how would I beat this in a Zelda game? I shoot the eyeball. Sick, it's dead. Like, you know,
It's like the coolest addition, and it's also the most aggravating because, like you mentioned, Goma, the giant eyeball. He has to do a specific attack before you can even do proper damage to him.
Yeah.
And I had one run on a mission where he refused to do that attack and destroyed my base 5 times.
Yes.
No.
No, here's the thing, and it's really random. The very first time I played that mission, I killed him very quickly. Like, all he did was the eye attack. And then I went
Yeah.
back later with a super upgraded Link, and I was like, I'm just going to wreck this thing in like 2 seconds. And he didn't do the I-beam attack. And I was like, what is happening? And he just kept bouncing around from base to base and just
Yeah.
wrecking everything. And I was like, I'm done with this. There was the one, the manhandler, whatever the hell.
Go on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the plant. He's supposed to hit him with the boomerang, but we'd always do the one seed shot thing. And he would
Yeah.
never do anything else. There was a seed shot. And I was like, this randomness is aggravating.
The seed shot's actually when you're supposed to hit him. Like, you block it, then you throw the boomerang.
No, but for some reason it will only hit 2. Like the bottom 2, and then
yeah.
it's just
I know. Trust me. I've been doing adventure mode a bunch.
adventure mode's fun. Adventure mode's fun.
Yes, but like last night on stream, I decided to show off some adventure mode. 3 of the missions I had available all had me fighting 2 Gomas at the same time.
no.
Nice.
So it basically just became an exercise in frustration. So, but I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. Other than the bosses being a little kind of a roulette. Other than that, oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say it's definitely Dynasty Warriors. Shout out to the completionist for completing it.
Dude,
He
I don't
went
even
in-
know how Gerard did that.
He went in like the biggest dummy in the world, and I told him when he got these, like, I'm gonna complete it. I was like, no, Dynasty Warrior games take hundreds of hours to get everything to 99. He's like, it'll happen. He did it in like 2 weeks, and during those 2 weeks, he looked so depressed, like he hadn't slept in days, and he's like, I just want to beat it, and it was like,
What
You
was
need
his
to-
final tally? 250 hours
Something like that's
in 2 weeks.
That's
Gerard is insane.
he is
Gerard
a crazy
insane.
person.
Yeah.
I couldn't play a game for that long ever. I don't even care how much I like it.
I
And he
have
does that
told
for
him.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I have told him countless times, and I will stand by this, and he will never listen to me. I was like, just hire people to play the games for you and then do voiceovers. No one will know the difference. And he's like, I'll know the difference. And I was like, what?
That
I was
integrity.
like,
How dare he have integrity?
That's too. Look, after he beat the game once, give it to an intern, make him play the rest of it. And he's like, no, I will play it so that I know everything there is to know. And it's like, no one will notice on the internet. No one cares. And he's
I mean,
like,
he's
I will
also the
care.
script writer, so
Yeah.
God, I can't even imagine. That's insane.
meanwhile, I know a couple of the games he actually recorded for like the rest of his episodes. They're significantly shorter. Mm-hmm. And then he's got his like 3-year project of Skyrim coming up soon. So
Oh,
God damn. Like,
he's crazy.
yeah.
he's a crazy
Yeah,
person.
no, that's why you'll never catch me doing that shit. like that is
Not in a
insane.
million
This is why you shouldn't try. Effort is a
Yeah.
bad thing.
God.
I mean, I've just never been that sort of person where I'm like, I need to complete all of it, but I know a decent number of people who get this crazy thrill out of completing a game fully.
My
So
problem
power
is
to you.
I literally have a website that tracks all this for me. So I have a glaring reminder in my face every time I'm on the internet like, hey, you have 2,000 games you haven't even started.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, you mean Steam? You mean every time
Yeah.
you log into Steam?
No. If you couldn't tell by the wall behind me, I've got a couple video games, so.
Kind of
your
amazing.
wall's so nice. I'm like, I got like a controller and a guy and a flag.
I have a
maybe, or
flag to
thing.
block off the fact that all that's behind it is just boxes and random shit.
You know what, I like the flag's a nice backdrop though. It's really good.
It seems to work mostly.
I just had to get used to only having a room in my house to store everything. So I'm like, okay, I've got to make everything actually neat so I can survive and not
Yeah.
get claustrophobia. So
I personally campaigned against Scottish independence to make sure I didn't have to replace my flag at a later date, so.
Wow.
I'm kidding. Do what you want.
and then he was lynched.
Yeah. Yes, the Scottish army is on its way.
Yeah, they're
Could take a
coming
while.
for you, dog.
Yeah. Okay, the new. What else you been playing, John?
The new Gauntlet.
Yes, I played some of that. We tried to play it. Eventually, co-optional plays will happen. We promise.
Yeah, one
it
day.
Was like, we had a scheduled time, and then Jesse wasn't available, and then we had another scheduled time, and then the dog came.
Dogs.
So yeah, dogs. So I did
It was
play
not
it.
my fault.
Yeah, but I did
I was
play it with
waiting
my
to
house
get that
guests
out.
though.
There.
So
Can I say one thing though?
I mean, you can
Good
try.
game. Good game. The intro bit, awful. Not a
What,
fan.
the little
of
bit where
like,
you test out all the characters?
like
The
learn to
tutorial?
play. Yes,
That's like
I did-
3 minutes long.
Yeah,
What's
I was
the
gonna
problem?
say
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
a weird
short. What are you
thing.
talking about?
awful. You shouldn't. It's Gauntlet. You shouldn't.
Yeah,
have
but
a
the
tutorial.
wizard is kind of hard to
Everyone's
throw them
say.
in.
different.
Yeah.
Everyone's so
Throw
different.
them in. Throw them
No,
in.
don't.
No.
The wizard is really hard. No.
Yes, throw them in. From now on, let's get rid of tutorials in general.
No,
throw
I think
them
that
in.
was like the best
Throw
thing
everyone
was, like,
in. Throw them in the game.
Oh
All
my God.
tutorials, scrap them.
Yep.
Scrap them. It's a waste
John,
of time.
feel free to talk over him. He's having one of
Learn
his
by-
funny
it's very
turns.
difficult.
difficult to
doing.
do. Just so you
Learn
know.
by doing.
I could
all
drop
I'm
it from
saying.
the
Super
call.
fun to
That
play,
might work.
Is it just me or does the warrior really, really suck in that game?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, I've been playing him, but it's almost like some of the abilities kind of overlap, whereas the Valkyrie seems to have much more utility, but kind of does the same thing as the warrior does.
I got
right
thrown
here.
into a... Oh, really?
Oh.
The PAX 2014 Gauntlet
Oh,
champion.
for fuck's
there.
sake. No one
Uh,
cares.
I
That wasn't
won.
even the
well, hold
complete
on.
build.
I won with the warrior. Thank you very much. So
Yeah, but you were originally playing Archer, and then somebody stole Archer from you, and then you played Warrior, and
I
you
still
fucked
won.
people
I
over.
still won.
You fucked
So
people
really,
over
I'm
by
just
sitting in the
better
corner.
at it.
You fucked people over by sitting in the corner so that they couldn't get gold.
one time, and then while they were fighting monsters, I ran around and got all the gold and stole all the food. Yes, but I still won, and in the end, that's all that matters.
So you're a terrible Gauntlet player, is what you're saying.
According to this, I'm
terrible
the number
team
one
player.
Gauntlet player.
According to your finger. According to your finger.
According to that right back there, that giant award I got, it's a belt. It's
I don't
like
know. That
Is
doesn't
that
look
what
like
that
an
is?
award.
Mm-hmm.
Go and bring it on the camera. Show
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, we need to see this.
Bring it over here.
Because I don't
Jesse.
actually believe you. I think that's
That
just a
looks
menu.
like a wrestling belt.
I
it
think
is.
that's exactly what it
Oh
is.
my! Hold on, fucking.
What are you doing? Like, wouldn't it be easy just to get up and pick up the
things are
belt?
falling.
What are you doing?
Things are falling. Look, you know what? I didn't think this through. Okay.
No,
I
you
might
did
have
not.
killed Jesse. I might have killed Jesse.
Hold on. There.
What the? Oh my God, he's actually serious.
Yeah. Gauntlet Packs champion.
Hashtag need food badly. Nice.
And it has, it's Gauntlet. I won this for beating Angry Joe and girl, being a girl.
The guy who you very
And-
rudely can't remember the name of.
Look, I don't freaking remember. And then this camera's gonna fall off. And then I beat Tycho and Gabe in one of my rounds. I crushed them.
Nice.
Okay. So outside of the bragging, John, what's your opinion on it?
I really like it, but I feel like compared to the other three characters, the warrior just kind of sucks. I jumped into a game on hard where my friends were playing as Valkyrie and Elf, and they were just destroying house, and I was getting killed every couple of seconds. Then we got to the first boss. We got stuck for a while. I switched to the wizard, and we beat it immediately. The wizard is insane. He's really fun. He's basically simplified Magicka.
Yes. Yeah, they definitely use the
it's
same
exactly
mechanics
like
there.
Magicka.
I avoided doing that. I did play the warrior, but I was only playing on normal. I didn't really have too much of a problem, but I always felt like I just had less utility than the Valkyrie did.
I think I realized the main problem with him is that he doesn't have a dodge move. His run is too slow, but everyone else has either a dodge move, can block, or can do damage while dodging like the wizard.
It's
I also just.
it's not
I was gonna say I
entirely
also
true.
just kind of
Sorry,
feel.
go ahead.
Sorry.
We're just talking over each other so much today. Go on.
Yay! I was just gonna say I also feel like the warrior doesn't have quite as big of a range of abilities, and I know warriors are supposed to just like walk around and hit things, but literally all of the warrior moves are walk around and hit things in various fashions, whereas like Archer has the ranged moves, but also the bombs, right?
Yeah.
And like Valkyrie has the strike moves and also the ranged, and like I
the
feel
block
like there's a
and things
bigger
like that.
variety with everybody else.
The only thing I noticed... Sorry.
Don't apologize to Jesse. Talk over it.
No, in all,
He's
in all
on the show every
seriousness,
week. It's fine.
In all seriousness, though, like the reason why I was such a dick that final round in the tournament was because I had the warrior, and Dodge is right. Like he's not as fast as the ranger or archer or whatever, the elf. He doesn't have the range of the wizard. And he doesn't have the quick, like, move across the map, like, speed thing that the Valkyrie has. And so the only way that I could even compete was to be a total asshole and make everyone wait for me, because I would lose. Like, once I learned that the warrior is really the weakest out of all of them, I was like, okay, time to go full dick mode. And that's, I mean,
And it
yeah,
clearly
you're right.
worked, so...
Yeah, it worked. So
The only thing I noticed about the wizard, his tree, like, if you literally take so much damage to a certain point, you gain the ability to heal. Like, eventually it's like up to 50,
Oh, really?
I think 40 or 30% of your health, you re-heal while you're fighting.
Huh.
So I guess that's the trade-off, is he's a better character the more you play as him, but you need to get the crap kicked out of you first to even get to that point.
Yeah, because
Wizard's already really powerful. It's just more complex.
the way that a
Everyone
lot of
else
the
is really more
masteries
powerful.
work requires you to do some fairly unintuitive things. It's almost the same problem that I have with achievements. It's like, do this thing that doesn't make any sense. Like, die this number of times, eat this much food while you're at full health, and all that kind of stuff. And you eventually get those stats as a result.
Like, half those damage
Yeah.
buffs you get, though, like, you would naturally get those playing the game. You might goof up and accidentally die in spikes. Now you're immune to spikes, stuff like that. It
Yeah.
makes sense, but
I guess so.
some doesn't like destroying the food.
Yeah, I don't like
You can
countering-
shoot the food and then it disappears. That pissed me off so bad.
Oh,
Like,
well, that's the point of it. That's
Yeah,
why
that's-
it's
I mean,
such a
That's like
good.
Gauntlet?
Yeah, I mean, that is Gauntlet, Dodger.
That's
That's
been
why
there
it's
since
such a
game
good
one.
co-optional game, because you
I haven't
can.
played a Gauntlet game since my brother and I played when I was like young.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I don't remember these things.
Yeah, I mean, you could screw
How do you
people
not
over.
remember a 20-year-old game?
Yeah, I like the crown system in that game because it certainly encourages you not to protect the guy with the crown, to let him kind of get mobbed and things like that. Oh, we played a lot on normal with our house guests. We did like, I don't know, like 5 or 6, actually maybe 7 or 8 levels. And I definitely had fun. I think, thankfully, the levels are varied up enough so that there's a couple of different themes. Like there was the one where the Grim Reaper chases you, which means that you have to keep going. And then there's a couple of different elements. Because otherwise it would get very samey. Like, it's almost like, well, why would I play this instead of, like, playing Diablo, you know? Because Diablo has loot and stuff. But I think that the level pacing is almost just right. And I love being able to screw over the people that are playing with me. I think that's fantastic. That's like the best element of it. It's by Arrowhead. It's the same guys that made Magicka, which encourage you to blow your friends up. So
that's why it seems so familiar and why Magicka seems to be implemented so well. Now it makes sense.
Yeah, I felt that way too.
I thought the studio name looked familiar.
Yep, it is Arrowhead. So the sense of humor is pretty good. I think the writing's actually quite fun. I got to give them credit for that. I did find, like, I don't know if you guys have played it online and found, but I found some, like, strange lag problems. Like, I found the other guys were kind of warping around the level a bit.
A little bit, not much. My main problem was your HUD can actually cover you up.
Oh.
Did you ever have that happen? I got killed at least twice
never had
because
that
the
happen.
HUD covered me up.
But that sounds very stupid and shouldn't happen ever. But it sounds like it does. Well, I mean, I'm just looking at the size of the HUD now on the screen, and it seems like it could be a little bit.
It's just the bottom half. It doesn't go transparent when you're underneath it. So if there's any enemies hitting you, you're kind of screwed. So
yeah, it's a bit silly, and I think that the HUD's maybe a little bit large for the information that's on it. There's quite a lot of wasted space there, so maybe they could have made that smaller.
But that's kind of a nitpick more than anything. It's still a really fun game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a decent arcade action game. It's the kind of thing that, like, you either get a 4-pack, but if you do that, you're still paying $15 a game there. And some people might be like,
10, actually.
Was it 10?
A friend of mine bought a 4-pack, and I think he said it was 10 each, or you get like one free essentially, and it was 15 each otherwise, something like that.
I'm just going to have a quick look actually and confirm my data here, make sure that I'm not.
You might be right. I don't know.
I'm probably wrong. I just want to make sure I'm not giving out false information. Let's see. A 4-pack, yeah, it's $60 for a 4-pack, so it's $15 each, or $20 on its own. That might be over what a lot of people would be willing to pay. I think like $10 each is the sweet spot for that game. So maybe people might want to wait for a discount, but outside of that, you know, it's certainly fun. It's fun arcadey action. I don't hate it. It's a Gauntlet game. What did you expect?
Yeah.
Huh?
I had saw some people in the chat mention Gauntlet Legends, and like that was my favorite Gauntlet game up to this point. Yeah. And now I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm kind of back and forth on if I like this one more than Legends. There's definitely more to it, more nuance than in Legends, but I don't know, half and half on that one. Which one's better?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is Jesse doing?
I have no idea.
I think he's picking up all the things he knocked over when he grabbed the belt.
He just broke everything.
Oh, no, I think I found it. Yeah. Okay, we're good. All right. Hopefully we're still talking about Gauntlet. La 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 la.
We're just finishing.
What'd you do?
Good.
What'd you find?
I found something that I wanted to use for when we played, but since we haven't played yet, I wanted to show it to you now. So
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
I literally searched around my entire room. It was just back there. I give up.
That was worth it.
Oh, whatever.
Definitely. Oh my. Anything else you've been playing this week, John?
Lethal League. I was playing Lethal League.
Yeah.
Lethal
Game's
League is
awesome.
so fun.
I made the mistake of entering a tournament for Lethal League.
Oh, okay. How did that go?
Dude, Lethal League is great.
There's a group on Steam and on Twitter that hosts these weekly Lethal League tournaments. They got, I think, the one I entered on Saturday, there was like 70 people in it. And they're all scary good at that game. I got bodied completely. Like
That's saying something too, because you are super good at games, John.
No.
Not
I
Lethal
don't
League.
think they will.
Not
Yes.
against Candyman. You can't beat Candyman.
I haven't played you. I lost to like 2 skates or like a skate and a raptor or something like that.
The
would
I
lose.
think
You would lose
the
again.
crocodile guy, his ability, his
like,
kind of super move is
puts it in
really
his mouth?
yeah. He puts it in his mouth and then kind of fires it out. That's actually really hard to dodge. I had problems against him.
Did you play since the patch? Because they actually show it on the meter now, like
Oh,
when he's
really?
going to fire the ball.
Oh, that's cool. I guess I haven't. I played a little bit with Cry on stream, and then I played for my video, which was at the end of August. And outside of that, I haven't played a huge amount.
I don't know. It's really fun. Like I ended up playing it at Iron Man of Gaming earlier in the year. It was the mystery game, and it was really fun. It was super weird at first because they didn't tell us what to do. They handed us a sheet that was like, all right, here's how you play the game, and it was literally a tiny box in the corner that said, here are the buttons, and then it was every character's bio.
Oh,
Nothing else. There were no super moves. It's just like, yeah, press ABX. Oh, here's a skateboarding robot.
yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
It's fun. It's a really good game. I don't have many complaints. Occasionally there's like online desyncs. They've got to sort that out with the netcode, but outside of that, the game's awesome.
The music is so good in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame there's not more of it.
Yeah.
It is really, really good, though. It's a very fun game. I think it's also like a streamer game. Like, it's the sort of thing that you can get a few people on TeamSpeak together and just have a whale of a time. Just a lot of shouting with that game.
Sorry,
Word.
I'm going to apologize in advance because for some reason my audio keeps clipping in and out. So there's going to be certain points where I can't hear what everyone's saying. But
Oh, okay.
Good.
I'll smile and nod, and that will probably
All
work
right.
great.
Yeah, we had that problem earlier. I thought it was resolved. I guess not. Oh,
Well,
No, it just keeps coming back and in. For some reason, Jesse's like, Warrior needs food badly, fixed it. Fine. I don't know why.
okay.
Hold on, I'll do it again.
Use your magic, Jesse, please.
It's so stupid. I love it. Doo-doo-doo. We're all there for about it.
But other than that, that's pretty much all I played.
Cool. Oh, I've got something I want to show off, actually.
Oh,
Yes.
God. How come every time I show
More
something
card
off,
games.
you show something
More
better
card
off?
games. It is Warhammer 40,000 Conquest, the card game.
That
which
is a
Oh,
big
is it?
box for just cards.
Well, it's because there's a lot of fucking cards. That's why. It has... Oh, Jesus. Like, that's so many. I can't even count it. It's the latest of Fantasy Flight's living card games, where they do kind of a TCG, but with the expansions, you get all the cards and copies of the cards in the box. So instead of having to buy booster packs, you just buy the box. And it's like, it has all the cards in it. Go make some stuff. And this is the Warhammer 40,000 version they just kind of brought out. And I am very much looking forward to playing it. I'm a huge 40k nerd, as people are well aware. I like card games, so to me, this is a match made in fucking heaven. So I'm hoping that this ends up being good. I watched the big tutorial for it that they put out on Fantasy Flight's YouTube channel, and the mechanics seem really interesting. You've got to try and control planets, and you kind of battle over planets, and each player has a warlord who you can send to a planet, and you also play cards from your reserve to put units on the planet and move things around, and there's all sorts of abilities and different spells and weird shit. So
that sounds interesting.
yeah, it seems cool, honestly. And that you can win in two ways. You can either take control of 3 planets with the same symbol on them, or you can bloody, which means that you flip over a warlord card and it gets much weaker, and then kill him after that. And if you kill the guy's warlord, then you end up losing the game. But yeah, it seems fun, and hopefully it will do really, really well, because all of the other living card games they've done are pretty good. The Game of Thrones card game is really, really good. The Cthulhu card game is also really good, and they do a couple of others. Android Netrunner is like really popular at the moment. Very, very good cyberpunk game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this. I think it's out in a couple of days. Mine arrived a little bit early, but yeah, it's a lot of people seem to think that it's a lot of fun. So hopefully it will be.
Wait, so can I double check something with you that I might have misunderstood? Okay, so you're saying that the game came out in packs originally, and then they consolidated it all into an actual box?
No, they designed it to never come out in packs.
Okay.
Their living card game model that they use, that they've been doing for a while on a number of games like Game of Thrones, is specifically designed in such a way that when you buy the box, you get all of the cards in that expansion and multiple copies of them, so you can basically build whatever deck you want. And then what they do is they regularly release expansions that also have the cards in it, and they're like $15 to $20, and you get all the cards from that expansion. So it's, in my opinion, a pretty good way of doing things because it avoids all the random bullshit from buying booster packs. Admittedly, it also gets rid of a lot of the excitement from buying booster packs, right? Because everyone loves opening a booster pack and seeing what's inside, but it brings the cost down. You know, that box is like $30, and it's enough for 2 people to play. And then it's like $15 per expansion, I think, which is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
So I like the model. I think it's a good model. So hopefully it'll be fun to play eventually when I convince the missus to play it with me. I've been working on that. Like, I got her to play X-Wing with me, so that was good. Pretty happy about that.
X-Wing, every year at PAX, every PAX that I go to, there's always a table. One of the tabletop tables where they say, like, you want to learn? Sit here. We'll teach you how to play X-Wing. There's always a huge table with, like, just a couple of people on there just learning how to play X-Wing, like, so excited.
It's not that hard to learn. Also, the models are fucking awesome. Like my little Royal TIE Interceptor. I'm a horrible fucking nerd when it comes to plastic spaceships. But, yeah. I have a whole shelf of those fucking things.
Yeah, plastic spaceships.
Plastic fucking spaceships. It's a really fun... X-Wing's a really, really fun game. Very fun. And not too expensive for a miniatures game. It's like, you only need a few ships to really play, so that helps. Instead of like Warhammer, spend $2,000 and then you might have a decent army. God, fuck that.
But you get to paint them. It's so much fun, Judy.
You have to do all the work. That's the worst thing about Warhammer. Not only does it cost a shitload, but you've got to do all the work putting the fucking thing together.
That makes me laugh because that's exactly what Sam says about Gundams. Whenever I come home with a Gundam, I'm like, I'm so excited to build this. And he's like, they literally just sold you a toy that they haven't put together and you have to build it. I'm like, I know, it's so exciting.
Yep. Yeah. But I have a B-Wing. I have this B-Wing. Look at it. It's a B-Wing. It's a B-Wing. And I didn't have to put it together. That was the best thing about it. It just came like that. It was great. No work required. How it should be.
A TIE Interceptor would thoroughly destroy a B-Wing in a battle, sir.
The question
only the A-Wing can match the speed and maneuverability of a TIE Interceptor.
Yeah, but TIEs don't have any fucking shields, Jesse. And which TIE Interceptor would you have? Would you have the Royal Guard TIE Interceptor or the...
No.
The fuck squad?
I wouldn't trust the Royal Guard. The Royal Guard, they're lazy. They just stand around and watch the Emperor all day. They don't do shit. They're lazy. They're the laziest of them.
Indeed. Shall we play the Can Jesse identify various obscure spaceships game?
Yes.
It's
Let's
possible.
play that
It's
game.
possible
Okay.
I can.
All right. What's this?
That is the Z-Wing.
No.
Or X-Wing with the S-foils not deployed.
No, that's not correct.
It is a hold on. Yeah, it's from the expanded universe. It's from the Thrawn series. What's the name of it?
Well, you've already failed. That is a
What is it?
Z95 Headhunter, the predecessor.
Whatever. Z.
right.
I got
Okay.
Z right. It was the Z that mattered.
I'll give you another shot.
It was the Z that mattered.
What is this?
Oh, that's that fucking dude. It's all expanded universe stuff. I don't know the name of that one.
So you don't know anything.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
So you're a failure.
It's expanded universe stuff. You can't expect me to remember everything.
It's a fucking E-Wing.
Yeah, it's expanded
E-Wing.
universe. You can't expect me to know all that.
Hey, Jesse, I heard you're...
Where's the Corellian cruisers? Where's the Corellian Corvettes? That's a normal TIE fighter. That's a normal
this
TIE
one?
fighter.
This Corellian Corvette?
Holy shit. That's huge.
Yeah. That's like the size next to like the TIE fighter.
So they're supposed to be accurate representations?
They're not kind of, no, because like even like in the Star Wars universe, this would like be 3 times the size of this. But they tried to like do it at a kind of adaptive scale where it's it's kind of like that.
So like, is the Imperial cruiser
No, this is
all
the
those
biggest
huge?
This is the biggest ship you can currently get. Because it's fucking stupid size. So
Yeah, because technically that would have to fit inside.
yeah. Well,
An Imperial.
because of that, they're doing a new game called Star Wars Armada, which is the actual big ships. But obviously, they've scaled everything down. So that, like, the set for that supposedly comes with a Victory-class Star Destroyer, a Nebulon B, and I think it comes with a Corellian Corvette as well.
But a Victory class Star Destroyer, that's from the pre-Empire days.
Yeah?
That's boring.
Well, that's what they start with, because it's only going to get fucking worse. Like, they're going to make
You can get an interdictor cruiser with a gravity well.
I hope
Oh my
so.
god.
That would be sick. Hang on,
See,
you used to claim you know nothing about Expanded Universe, and you know about the Interdictor Cruiser, and yet you don't know what an E-Wing is.
Look,
He reads
I know
the
everything there
books.
is. I know everything there is to know about the Empire. Like, the Empire is great.
Except for, well, what's this then?
TIE Defender?
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. All right. Let's try something a little bit harder. So what's that?
Oh, fuck. That's, is that an Interceptor?
No.
No, what is that? Oh, shit.
A Z57
Z95 headhunter.
interloper heads.
I don't know what that one is.
So I know everything about the Empire except for all of this stuff.
No, now I gotta look it up because I don't freaking know what that is.
That's a TIE Phantom, Jesse.
What is the Phantom from?
It was the prototype ship with the cloaking device.
No, all right, but what Phantom? What is it from, though?
You'll find it.
I'm looking it up right now. What story
Really
is it
quick,
from?
while Jesse's looking that up, I'd just like to say on behalf of John, he can't hear us very well. His Skype is like messing up real bad, which is why he's silent right now. I just don't want anybody to think that he's just like
It's like
not wanting to be involved. He like can't
John
hear
was
us,
like
so.
in the actual Star War, and he's having PTSD flashbacks because of all of
It's
these
like,
shit.
I can't. I
Yes.
can't.
Yeah, so we're just kind of trying to sort that out at the moment. So don't
Yeah,
worry.
Maybe when we go to break, he can restart Skype and everything.
we'll
But
give that
what
a
is
shot.
it from? It's not. This is. It doesn't have a source on here. What is it?
What do
Appearances.
you mean it doesn't have a source? You stroll down Wikipedia, there's like 12 sources for it.
All right, here's the sources: Star Wars Rebel Assault 2: The Hidden Empire, and Star Wars Empire at War: Forces of Corruption. I have seen neither of those. I don't know what the hell those are. So that explains why I don't
You
know
didn't
what.
play Empire at War? That game was fucking awesome.
I don't remember at all.
You can get it on Steam and get Empire War Gold. It was actually kind of great. The only problem was that the ground battles kind of sucked, but the space battles were awesome. Absolutely fantastic little strategy game, that one. Love it.
Stupid Empire with your stupid. No wonder you lost.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Fucking TIE Phantoms.
I know
That's
everything about the Empire except for...
I don't need to know. Apparently, I don't know everything because I don't know if you guys saw the new Star Wars movie leaks, but the new stormtroopers are silver.
What?
What? They're like chrome. They're like chrome stormtroopers. What is happening? What is happening, J.J. Abrams? You can only have so much flair. Now he's like, make everyone chrome, all the lens flare.
Are they also riding spinners? Like, is that something that they
They
do?
have cloaks. They're chrome and they have cloaks and they look like they're trying to be Master Chiefs in that new trailer that they just had. It's insane looking.
There's a new trailer? I didn't see that.
Again. Oh, the trailer for the last Halo thing they had where Master Chief had like this
Oh, I was going to say, there's a Star Wars trailer? What?
No, they look. Here's the thing, though. I want to point out for the record, again, timeline-wise, it's been 40 years since the fall of the Empire. Why are there stormtroopers? I'm just saying, the Jedi aren't that lazy. They would have eradicated the last of the remnants of the Empire. I'm just saying. It don't make any sense, J.J. Abrams, and I'm calling you out on it. Your story better be good.
Well, they're probably not called stormtroopers, I would imagine. They're probably called something else entirely.
What if there's just one? I take it all back. What if there's just one and he's a badass and he's like Darth Vader Jr. DVJ.
Okay.
DVJ gonna get up on you, Luke Skywalker. And there's future wrestling.
I was going to say, is he also the Ultimate Warrior? Like,
oh yeah, and he pulls off his. If you guys want to go see something amazing, go look up. There's an intro of a guy. There's a video called Bad Wrestling Intros, and there's a man who dresses up like a stormtrooper with glitter on his stormtrooper mask, and he bursts through a wall and then falls over, and the mask rolls off. It's incredible. Go look that up. That is maybe the best intro in wrestling ever. So I hope they bring that back. I hope that's what they're doing.
Hope so.
I thought that maybe you were going to talk about the that picture that Hulk Hogan posted of him alone in a cinema. Oh, what movie was it that he was seeing? He looked so happy.
What is going? John leaves and it's like, thank God John's gone. Now we can get down to business. Did you see Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, for those who are just tuning in wondering where our guest went and why he's been silent the last few minutes, he's got a Skype problem whereby we're cutting in and out from, so you can't actually hear what we're saying. We're trying to fix that at the moment. So we'll probably have to go to a break to do it.
During the break, go to YouTube and look up Shockmaster intro and go watch that. It is the funniest. It's a man dressed like a stormtrooper who falls over. That's his wrestling intro. He was never brought back. It's incredible.
Oh, man. Oh, dear. Well, it might be a good time to go to a break, actually, because that'll allow us to try and fix ProtonJon's audio issues, and we'll try and get everything sorted out. When we come back, we will attempt to talk more about video games, because there are plenty to talk about, thank God. You are watching the Co-Optional Podcast, don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast, where hopefully John's internet issues have been sorted out.
Hopefully, I can hear you guys now. For some reason, just randomly in the call, you'll all start speaking Simlish.
Interesting. Yeah. Yes, I definitely hope that that's been fixed. We'll see.
Like, was I speaking fine? The little I was
Yeah, we
talking
never had a
about it?
problem. We just got the.
hell?
We were trying to figure out whether or not you really hated Star Wars, and that's why you were looking horribly perplexed.
No, like that's why I said if I having tech issues, I'm just smiling and nodding. So that's why every now and then I would just go. I think Dodger was picking up on it because I could see her laughing.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'd just see you like deadpan and then go. I was like, yep, he can't understand anything that's going on right now.
I heard like that B-wing.
So, Dodger, what have you been playing this week?
Hyrule Warriors, which is
Good choice.
super fun. I made the horrible choice of putting the Wii U in the bedroom, so every night before I go to sleep, I've been like, I'll just play some Hyrule Warriors, and then it just
Go on.
That's it, Jesse.
That's
I
as far as it
finished.
goes, by the sounds of it.
And
done.
drink.
Yes, drink.
I'm not sure that water counts, but
It's vodka.
I don't
I
drink alcohol.
Yeah,
refuse to
right,
drink.
okay.
I wanted to know about her playing Hyrule Warriors. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
we have already discussed Hyrule Warriors.
We have.
We have.
I do. As I will say though, as another person in this podcast who absolutely loves Dynasty Warriors games and also loves Zelda games, I am delighted with it. So
Cool.
there's that. I also played the new Sherlock Holmes game, and that's
Okay.
super fun.
I hear it's great.
It's okay. So
What's the
not
name of
only
this?
graphically, Crimes and Punishments.
Okay.
Yeah. So not only graphically does it look way better than the other ones, but they're employing a lot of things from like the BBC Sherlock show, lots of like word association, mind palace-y sort of stuff, which at first I was like, that's going to be so lame. But it translates into a game really well. It makes it really, really fun to like look around the crime scene and put things together. And it's been super fun so far, and the pacing's super good. So yeah. I definitely recommend it. Or you can watch my playthrough on youtube.com/ProStar to continue.
Nice.
Oh, John's like,
John
F
switches. John
Yeah.
switched to a new
Yeah.
computer.
John jumped
Yeah.
dimensions, and now
Whoa.
maybe it'll work.
Different
Well,
angle.
Mic check. Does that work now?
It
Yeah.
seems to, yes.
Low
We've
key
had.
Yeah, it's a bit ropey, but it seems to be working. So hopefully you'll be able to hear us.
I don't know what's happening. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay. We have shit happen on this show a lot. It's mostly Skype's fault. It's just
Yeah.
I'm looking at this. It seems okay. It almost seems to be like games like this are the modern evolution of point and click.
Oh, it's super. Yeah. It's absolutely a point and click, but it tries to employ ways to keep that genre fresh. So I don't know if you've played any of the other Sherlock Holmes games,
Nope.
but they're astonishingly bad in a lovable way. And it's really fun to play this one because I'm like, wow, this is like legitimately like,
Not
it feels
awful.
like a good game. Like it feels like a nice game to play. Don't get me wrong. I've loved all of the other Sherlock Holmes games, but I think we can all agree that they're bad, right? I'm mostly talking to chat right now. They're bad games, but this one is by the same people, and it's really fun so far. So I'm excited about that.
Reminds me a little bit about Vanishing of Ethan Carter, actually, with the whole let's investigate and put things together thing. Has anyone here played Vanishing of Ethan Carter yet? Okay, so
Is that an old? Is that an old?
No, it
game?
just came out, and I hear
Brand
it's
new.
Oh,
great.
okay.
It's quite
just came
short.
out?
Apparently, you could beat it in about 4 hours, but it's also
Oh.
it's also a $20 game. I'm totally cool with 4-hour games, by the way. Like that's
Me
fine.
too.
I never have the time, so I'm okay with a short experience that's just the right length. But I haven't played anything beyond the first hour, which I did on stream yet, so I don't have anything else to say other than what I said the last time about Ethan Carter, which is like, holy shit, that game is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just really good looking game. Blows everything else out of the water.
What would you compare it to? To Myst or?
I'd say Myst is a reasonable comparison. It's a very exploration-heavy game, but it's nothing like, hey, wander around and people talk to you like Dear Esther. No nonsense like that. You do find items in the way that you would in a traditional point-and-click game, and you use them on certain things. But it's a detective game, basically. You have a look around, you try and piece together the crime scene, you find evidence of the crime that happened, and as you find pieces of evidence, you're able to build up this kind of, you'd almost call it intuition, but it's clearly like a supernatural ability. So you sort of build up this picture, and once you get everything, it shows you what happened, or at least it shows you bits of what happened, and then you've got to try to reconstruct the chronology of what occurred. And the first one that I did was very surprising because I kind of was on the right track of what I thought the crime was, but in reality it was completely different in terms of like who I thought was the villain and who was the victim. It was actually a nice twist. And there's some really crazy supernatural stuff going on with it. It almost sounds a bit Cthulhu-esque in places, but Lovecraftian.
Yeah, it's the tagline is somewhere in between H.P. Lovecraft and Gone Home.
Yeah.
So, Jesse will hate it.
Everyone on the internet's really excited about it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Basically, it's about Cthulhu's long-lost teenage lesbian lover. That's what
I was about to say, that's the joke I was going to go with, TV. Oh,
there you go.
rubbing off
on the same
you.
wavelength on that one. Well, the thing is, it has gameplay. Gone Home had some gameplay, but Gone Home was like on the line of like, is this actually a video game? Like where Dear Esther kind of crosses the line, it's like there's no gameplay here at all. But with Vanishing of Ethan Carter, you've got some fairly basic point-and-click kind of stuff. Like, you've got to find this item to use this, and then you've got to do the whole reconstructing the crime scene. And weirdly enough, some people actually criticize the whole reconstructing the chronology thing as, like, needlessly gamey. I'm like, fuck, sorry that it has game mechanics in it. It's a video game with gameplay.
Right.
God.
That's like a standard element of detective point-and-click games.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
You piece together how the murder happened so that you know when things occurred.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite bits. Like, a lot of people seem to, for some reason, these days be very much against gamey things. Like, I want to play a video game, so I want there to be gamey things in it. So if there is a mechanism that, like, lets me rebuild the scene and requires me to figure things out, that's good. In my eyes, anyway. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not hip with the kids these days.
Well, I mean, there's no way to please everyone at this point. So, I mean, there's always people are gonna find something to complain about all the time.
Holy shit!
That was straight out of the Matrix. You dodged bullets with that thing.
It's now sitting on top of my other laptop, so this is gonna be a terrible idea. But
Oh, good.
Why, oh, why didn't you take the blue pill?
oh god, it feels like I should have at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that for some people, especially with the conversation of what constitutes a game, right? For some
I love
people,
having that conversation, but I won't have it now. I won't have it now.
I know that for a lot of people, the question has come up of, are people adding things in order to make them fit the standard of a game, or are they taking things out in order to make a game seem more artistic, rather than just letting the game be what the game needs to be?
Yeah.
And
that's fair.
I think there's just needless critique about that lately, where people are questioning, that didn't even need to be in there. You could have taken that out and it still would have been a game. And it's like, not everybody needs to be having that conversation. If you experienced it and you enjoyed it, then it's fine. Not everybody needs to be having that conversation of, does this count as a game? Because not everybody has the job that we have. Right?
I always feel like we care too much. I think it's a cool conversation to have when you're critiquing a game, when there's mechanics layered upon mechanics. It's particularly true of open world games. Like Shadow of Mordor is a great example that we'll talk about a little bit later as kind of a recent open world game. And you always feel like, does this mechanic need to be here, or is it put in because the developer feels like those systems have to be there in an open world game to keep people interested? Did they just shove in it's almost like the mini games in Watch Dogs. It's like, did this shell game need to be there? Like, did someone have to spend time on that? But even in that case, that's completely optional. And then there's like games where you can argue, well, this mechanic isn't optional, and I think that it's superfluous and didn't need to be there either. And that's an interesting discussion, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But besides the argument of it taking away like man hour and like just work in general, do you feel like adding extra content, even if it's superfluous, do you really feel like that takes away from the overall experience, unless it's that bad of extra content?
Well, here's the thing: is the justification for it, like in Watch Dogs, for example. The little tiny things that were added to it were added as we're trying to make the world more realistic. Like, we're giving you things to do in the world. But a lot of the time, the things they add are, like, there's not going to be, I don't know. It seems like no one cares about that level of realism. Like, to a game creator, it makes you feel good. Like, our world has this and this and this, and we can brag about, everyone's doing something. You can go, get in a card game if you want. But as a game player, I'm not sure that anyone necessarily cares that there's that level of. They'd rather have a good, solid core game than a bunch of little tiny shitty things you can do in the world.
Like, the argument you can make is that there's a limited budget and a limited amount of man hours that are available for the developer, and I'd prefer them to spend it on something that doesn't involve a shell game. But then again, you could also make the mind, like, how long did that actually take to make? How much money did that really take?
And what if there's the plan where they don't want to do any more work to it anyways? Like, what if they had already locked it down? Yeah,
they locked that down. That was stuff that was just kind of added in at the end because some of the coders were doing other things. Because it's not, it's not the same guys doing the QA and the bug fixing as it is coding certain systems. Yeah, I totally get that argument. I think the problem with the way that Watch Dogs and a lot of open world games do it is just like, we want to make the world feel alive. So we're going to have things like, you can get involved in the card game and shit. Yeah, but it's like, it's like a theme park ride. You go up to the theme park ride and you get on the ride. Like, it's not just happening. Like, other people aren't playing that shell game. Like, the shell game guy is there 100% of the time just waiting for you to press the button, and then it brings up a menu. That takes me immediately out of it. I love the way that if I was wandering around and say Red Dead Redemption, I would run into something and that something would be happening and I could kind of intervene. And if I didn't intervene, it just kind of got on without me. And a lot of open world games are just like, here's an event. Now go and stand on this specific spot and press X to initiate it.
Right.
And from a story point of view, just taking Watch Dogs as an example we're using, if you're the character in that story and all of, you're out for vengeance and all these things are happening to you, where in your thought process you're going to be like, man, I should take a break and go play a game really quick. Like, you are out for vengeance. Like, you are of a singular mind. And you're just like, hold on, I'm going to drive around the city. Like, in a game like that, open world almost hampers what is happening.
It's more like fourth wall breaking in a way.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's ludonarrative disco biscuits, right? Like, or whatever it is they call it. Ludonarrative dissonance, I believe, is the term that they use, which is kind of weird.
I like disco biscuits better.
I like disco biscuits,
yeah. Same here.
I think it was Yahtzee that coined the phrase disco biscuits, or blah, 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 disco biscuits. But it's a phrase that a lot of people, including myself, misuse constantly. But open world games in general are really weird in the sense that you go around and do random shit that makes no sense to the story, and yet they try and put a story in anyway that you can just kind of resume whenever you want. And it's a world that is, it's a theme park world that's entirely made for you. It's not actually a living world where things are going on at all. Everything waits for you to happen, except the Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's shit. That doesn't wait for you, frustratingly enough. That's annoying as hell. I guess maybe
the one time.
I guess that actually demonstrates why everything waits for you, because when the Amazing Spider-Man 2 tried to do something different, it ended up being awful. So I don't know, maybe you've got to make some compromises there,
I feel like that's not maybe I feel like it's not the best example because that's a company like Beanox that doesn't really
do anything
open world.
Ever.
That too. Shattered Dimension was all right, but that wasn't an open world game.
Yeah, that's very true.
But even things like, I think going back a few, like when San Andreas was out, like everyone was blown away by the whole, like, you can like ride your bike up into the mountains and do whatever you want and go, and it was sort of a new experience.
You could go to the gym and you could eat McDonald's and get fat.
and it was a new experience, and everyone was sort of like in on it together, like, holy crap, look at the thing I just did, it's crazy. But over time, it's become sort of like a staple of that genre. Like, you can do whatever you want and like go places, but it's progressively become less needed. And having those things in there is just sort of, it's the we gotta
because it's an open world game. It's gotta have side activities. It's gotta have side missions.
It sounds more like genre fatigue at this point than anything.
Oh,
I think open world games are definitely suffering from that. I don't think there's a question.
It probably doesn't help that Ubisoft's releasing like 2 Assassin's Creeds a year.
Well, it doesn't help that Ubisoft keeps making the same fucking game. Like, it's loads of people made this really cool comparison that basically said Watch Dogs is actually Far Cry, which is actually Assassin's Creed. Someone did a review that was called Ubisoft the Game, the review. And it described like 5 different games, but you couldn't tell because, like, oh, they all have this kind of tower mechanic for like terrain control, and they all have this reputation system, and the way that the skill ups work is all the same. And like, you're right, they do kind of do that, don't they?
And Jesse's right. I mean, some games, depending on what's going on, some games can get away with that, and you're like, all right, this kind of fits the theme of this game. This fits the feel of like, I can live whatever life I want, I can do what I want, and if I want to waste an hour going to the gym and pressing P to do pull-ups, then that's what I'm going to do. But in other games, there is some heavy shit going down. And you're like, I don't want to go to the gym right now. Could you stop informing me that the gym is there? You know?
Nico, it's your cousin. Why don't you take me bowling?
That's a perfect example. Like, Grand Theft Auto 4 is a very serious game. And they're just like, why don't we go bowling and hit on girls? It's like, there's some crazy stuff going on right now.
That shit's like, GTA's always kind of had that problem because it keeps trying to put out this idea that it's a satire of popular culture and the horrible things in society, but simultaneously the story's like super serial all the time. Yeah. And I mean, with GTA 4, actually, I disliked it for that very reason. So there's like, I remember playing Vice City and then the previous stuff where the story was just kind of tacked on. It just accepted that it was an open world, horrible person simulator. And then you tried to make me care about the main character, even though he's a complete piece of shit. And I don't know, that was a little bit hard to deal with, I felt there.
Well, that's why Saints Row was able to make such a niche of just being like, all right, we're going to get more and more ridiculous each game.
Yeah, it accepted that it was fucking stupid. Whereas GTA has a problem accepting that it's fucking stupid. GTA pretends to be something it's not half the time, I feel.
That's because other people care so much about GTA that they're like, we're going to start caring so much about GTA, when really they would make a much better game if they were like,
Yeah, just throw that shit out the window, yeah. Speaking of open world games, can we talk about Shadow of Mordor?
How much have you played so far?
12 hours.
Whoa, you're ahead of me.
So
All right, never mind.
I downloaded it last night, and I was like, I could stay up till 4 a.m. playing this, and then I was like, no.
Yeah. I kind of sort of maybe snuck my way in a bit before release, and that helped quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? By posting angrily? Like, Totalbiscuit is furious.
I was pretty annoyed, man. The whole thing sucked. Like, Warner Brothers are just strange. They publish consistently good games most of the time. Yeah, they publish good stuff, and Shadow of Mordor is a good game. It's a very good game, and yet they're goddamn terrified of giving it to anyone who's even close to being a reviewer. But they would give the console version to them. But with the PC, what they wanted was every one of the early PC videos to be a paid-for promotional video, basically. So there's a bunch of Polaris guys that did it. There's a bunch of Machinima guys that did it. They even got like Corridor Digital to make a fan film and all sorts of things like that, which is, that's great. Don't get me wrong. That's really cool, savvy marketing. But the whole, you can't get a review copy, but we can give you a pre-release copy, which will allow you to release footage as soon as the game comes out if you agree to our promotional brand deal, is dirty shit.
Yeah, it does not come across well at all.
First off, love brand deals, think they're great. But secondly, I did a lot of promotional stuff with Shadow of Mordor, like down the line towards release. But even I didn't accept they wanted some crazy stuff. Like, you must make this. I was like, I'm gonna pass on that.
I believe that
rather not.
If I remember, like the terms of the contract that I saw, it was like you're not allowed to say anything negative. You're not allowed to say any bugs or glitches, show any bugs or glitches of any kind, which is kind of weird because as far as I know, like I actually have only ever seen one glitch in 12 hours of playing Shadow of Mordor. Like it's rock solid. Like there's no problem there. But like it's like you must convey an overall positive feel, basically, like a positive message. I think that we're using. Very much like you are our PR agency now. You're our marketing guy. We're paying you to market our game.
We're giving you a free game, so...
Well, they also paid people a lot of money. Like, it wasn't just a free game, because you ask a YouTuber of any prominence, here's a free game, make something positive, they're going to tell you to go fuck yourself. Because a lot of us get so many free games that it becomes paperwork at that point. I think it was Northern Lion that said, oh yeah, like, free game to a normal person might sound like an amazing gift. For us, it's paperwork, because, like, we've got so much of that stuff to do. But I just found the whole thing to be kind of disgusting, really. I'm okay with these kind of brand deals going on as long as they're properly disclosed and as long as they don't interfere with the review process. Yeah, like if they're going on beside it, cool, whatever, I don't care. Or if they happen later down the line, cool, don't care. If they happen instead of, that's a real problem because all of the footage you're seeing is bought and paid for the most part.
See, I feel like that screams one of two things: either they just don't have much confidence in the PC market or just in PC development, or like. They think because PC has varying degrees of specs, maybe they think, oh, this version's might look
probably
worse. I don't know.
They're the people in charge of their promotional deals.
But why specifically PC though? And because he said like they had no problem with console versions.
Yeah, they get the PS4 review copies out, no problem. I mean, the PS4 reviews came out a couple of days ago, I think, and they were totally fine.
Yeah, to me that signifies there's something with the PC development side, either at Warner Brothers or just in general the market that they're paranoid about.
It's not the PC development people. Again, it's all PR stuff. It's all who is ever in charge of putting the word out about like this Shadow of Mordor and Dragon Age, like all these games that are coming down the pipeline. The PR people that you talk to are just like, God, I really hope people like it, and I'm like. What are you talking about? You don't think anyone's going to buy Dragon Age? They're like, we just don't know what it's going to be. It's very weird disconnect. The more popular gaming becomes, the more people have to get involved with the promotion of it and so they bring in more and more people who know less and less about gaming. And so they only know that business model. And so you get a lot of people who only know business who are like, oh, we're just so worried that, this game that is super hyped and super good is actually going to sell. Like, why?
You gotta Dragon Age might be the best example. It might not be because remember the second one was panned by a lot of people and isn't held in the same regard as the first. So there could be some paranoia at the company because of that.
But this is a giant franchise. Like this. There's certain
and everything we've
seen
up to this point seems to indicate that it's a decent return to form. I mean, Dragon Age 2 sucked. There's no doubt about that. But Inquisition is looking a lot better.
Yeah, and people are definitely going to buy it. Even if it's entirely based on the fact that it's a Dragon Age game. And then by word of mouth, people will know that it's actually a good Dragon Age game.
It will do just fine. And I feel like there's this, and I think it all comes back to the thing that we've talked about on this podcast countless times, which is the expectations, especially at EA, but the expectations of week one, you need to have sold 5 million copies or some insane number.
It's because they need to make their money back. Remember when Tomb Raider, the 3D Tomb Raider, or not the 3D, the last gen Tomb Raider came out? Yeah, and they sold 2-3 million, and the Square Enix said it was a failure.
Yeah, and then they ended up selling 6. Like, that's the stupid thing about it is that they seem to have completely forgotten what the long tail is, especially in digital downloads. It used to be the case that you ran a few printings of a game, and the new copies basically dried out, and then it became a used market, and you could eventually re-release it like as a platinum seller, or whatever, and you could sell it at a lower cost. But that's kind of how it used to work. And there was a genuine fear there that if you didn't sell a shit ton of copies in the first couple of months, then your long tail would just disappear, and all the sales after that would be used games, which you don't get any money for. Now, especially on PC, that is not in any way true. Like, people are buying shitloads of copies of games that came out years ago on Steam because they can.
And but remember, they're also like super low price though. Like, how many of those games did you probably pay $5 or more for?
Yeah, so you end up getting you end up selling at all these different price points, which is great. Because I mean, I want to go into Steam charts right now. You know what one of the trending games is on Steam charts? Crysis 2. 2 is currently trending.
Crysis 2 is great though.
Why? Because it's on sale. Because it is on bloody sale. That's why. And on PC in particular, games they can get old, absolutely, but as soon as you put them on sale or you update them or there's a new mod that comes out, they become relevant again. And they start selling more and more fucking copies every single time.
Yeah.
So I think that the paranoia, I don't know, it's just like, it seems like an outdated business model that doesn't take fully into account how digital distribution works.
AAA in general is outdated because it's killing itself, the way it keeps rising the cost but not making the money back.
Yeah, totally.
That's why 2 or 3 million is a failure.
Yeah, 2 or 3 million being a failure indicates that your business model is fucked. Like, if you sold 3 million copies of your game, then frankly, if you're still not making your money, I want to know where the rest of that cash went, because that's insane.
And that's why, for example, we keep getting series every year, like a new Assassin's Creed, because they spend X millions on Assassin's Creed, and then they're like, we gotta make that money back. Let's make another one really quick. And that's sort of how
like
it works.
Ponzi scheme. Like, is the guy ever getting his money back, or are they just building on top of another? It's some house of cards going to end up crashing down.
They keep saving money because technically they're reusing some of the assets to get to reuse the engine, stuff like that. Yeah. So it's also, a money-saving scheme, which is
absolutely
weird.
But apparently they don't have enough money to make female co-op characters. But hey, there you go.
Lol.
I'm glad that like half a dozen companies made fun of that. I'm like, now we're going to put them in because you're stupid.
Yeah, I made fun of it as well. It's a bit like, oh no, you just don't understand the way. It's like, no, your system is dumb. Like, your system involves copying the main character 4 times to play co-op. And you're telling me that's a good way of doing things? No.
Different outfits. Here's the thing, and here's what angers me, is that I know I'm going to want to play just because of the co-op. Like, I'm going to want to experience that with friends and play through the game. It aggravates me that I still dislike it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I am fundamentally not a fan, but I'm going to be like, I kind of want to see what happens when you play with friends and you assassinate people on a team. Like, I want to...
my interest in Assassin's Creed was piqued again with 4, but also that game would have been a lot better if they took all the Assassin's Creed out of it and just made it a pirate game.
Pirates.
Because the pirate stuff was good.
All day, every day.
And then it was like, oh, you're getting into a fight with 20 people. I hope you can counter everything. Of course you can, because you are magical assassin man, the slaughterer of every god. It's just silly.
Wasn't that why they put out that survey after, like, would you buy a just pirate-themed game instead of this weird Assassin's Creed pirate crossover they do now?
I love how there's, like, they have to ask if people would buy a pirate game. That's hilarious. Like, of course they fucking would. It's a pirate game.
Did you... So what do you think, going back to Mordor, do you think that's similar? Because one of the things, I mean, having been a part of a lot of promotional things leading up to the release for Shadow of Mordor, every time I got to play with the devs, it was... We'll give you this little tiny bit of story, and then you can play for hours on the part of the Nemesis system where you can go around and go fight guys, which, by the way, is fantastic.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great.
But my big worry going into, and I'm only like 3 hours in, my big worry is story, because the big story nerd, I'm like, is this one of those things where you get like 4 hours of a story and then the 20 hours of doing the Nemesis system? And that's...
You can.
What would you say?
You can. Okay, so I'm 14 out of 20 of the main missions through after about 11 hours. And I obviously have spent some time doing the side stuff as well. Although, once I started to figure out, because there's this one ability that you get late in the game, which is actually key to making the Nemesis system work properly, which is called brand. The ability to brand someone with kind of your handprint and control them and make them do your bidding. And then you could also send them to go and start a fight with another orc captain, and a power struggle occurs, and you can replace the war chiefs with guys that are friendly to you and shit like that. That's like the meat of the system, but you don't get that until like mission... it's over halfway through the main story missions. But... honestly, I found that the story missions are pretty good. The storyline I've liked a lot. I like the fact that, and I don't want to spoil it too much, so I'll just say there's a lot of Silmarillion in there. If you've read the Silmarillion, a lot of the stuff in that is actually based more on the Silmarillion than it is on The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So you're going to find things very interesting if you've read that, or at least are reasonably familiar with the source material. And there's some pretty cool reveals and twists. And I also like the theme of... the whole theme of the game is use the enemy's weapons against him, which is, of course, exactly what was tackled in Lord of the Rings, where people said, no, that's a fucking terrible idea. Yet in this, like, you can feel your characters clearly being led down this path, and you're wondering, well, is my character actually going to end up kind of being the bad guy? Does he have the power to use the weapons of the enemy and so on and so forth? Like, is it even okay to build an army of orcs? Like, that sounds like a terrible idea, you know? All these
Right.
characters that are helping you really just out for their own ends. Is there something going on here? So, and it's helped out by really good script writing and voice acting. Like, spot on all the time. They even slip in little film references, like the same lines from the film, and you just kind of like, you did, didn't you? It's like, someone said the hour grows late. You know, they just kind of slipped that in there, and it sounded totally fine in the context. So, yeah. And yeah, so story-wise is fine, but as you said, the Nemesis system is the meat of the game, and the open worldy stuff that you do with that is the way to go. Yes, Dodger.
For those of you watching right now who remember my story about meeting multiple people at PAX and other events who had the blue handprint on their face, and when I asked them
branded.
where they when I asked
what
them
that
where
was
they got
from?
it from and what it was for, they had no idea, because the way that campaign was working at every event was there were just girls in standard middle-agey clothing who would just press blue
That's pretty
paint
clever.
fingers. Yeah, they would press blue handprints onto people's faces and then just walk away. Like, people had no idea why they had these handprints on their face. So if you were at one of those events and got a blue handprint and you were like, what is this? It was supposed to simulate branding from Shadow of Mordor.
That's actually kind of
That
cool.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was some weird Evolve crossover or something like that.
yeah.
Where's the giant monster coming in here?
Yeah.
it's-
Outside of all of that stuff, it is a very, very good Arkham clone, is what it is. Like, the combat system is extremely similar. It's got a few nice little things here and there that you can do. I love there's a teleport ability that you get, which is the most fucking fun, because you can get out your bow and then you target the enemy, you hit the Z key, you teleport behind it, kind of in Wraith form, and then you smack him in the back of the head. And you can warp around the battlefield. There's like a bullet time thing where you go into focus mode. And you can just, in the middle of a fight where they're all kind of swinging at you, just pull your bow out and just headshot like 4 of them, Legolas style. Boom, 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 boom. And that's a lot of fun. There's a serviceable stealth system. It works. It's just, it's not particularly incredible. There's not like a lot you can really do with it. But you can do shit like cover people in bees, which is awesome. Just shoot down a beehive. There's bees everywhere. Or set people on fire. I love blowing up stockpiles of grog and just seeing the orcs run around on fire and set each other on fire and panic. Then you unleash some fucking Caragors in the middle of them and then they start fighting those. You just cause chaos in that game.
my
But
God.
if you don't like the Arkham combat system and you don't understand that the game is basically about fighting orcs with the Arkham combat system, then you are going to get bored because it can get very repetitive like that.
There's
Yes, John.
I was just comparable to Assassin's Creed, though, in what sense? Like, because that was the big thing. Everyone was comparing it to Assassin's Creed, saying that's what it was going to be.
It's
More
more
Assassin's
Arkham
Creed than
Assassin.
Assassin's Creed is. Like, I'm going to be honest, but it is more
Really?
like Arkham. Yeah, like...
It's more Arkham
It's a
than
game about
Assassin's Creed.
actual assassination, which Assassin's Creed ceased to be like 3 games ago. Like, the whole focus of the Nemesis system is that orc hierarchy works in such a way that orcs gain power and veterancy by fighting other orcs and achieving various things, like they convince people to join their gang. If they kill you, they get promoted, which is a fucking awesome system. And they remember that. Like, if you meet them again, they're like, how the fuck did you come back to life? All right, I'm gonna kill you a second time and shit like that. And you actually get really pissed off at these orcs that kill you, and you like have this vendetta against them. It's like, fuck this guy. This guy's killed me twice already. I'm gonna hunt him. And it's like, well, I can't take him head on because he's really strong. But what if I got someone to betray him? Or what if I ambushed him during a beast hunt or something like that?
Or bees.
Or
And
bees!
here's-
Or
Yeah.
bees.
Here's the thing as well. Sometimes you will kill one of the orcs, right? But when you go to the screen that shows you the hierarchy, he's just laying on the ground and he doesn't like disappear. And so that means you just beat him, but he can come back. And so you don't know when he'll show up again, but eventually he'll just stand up and there's something like if you
And he'll
slashed him across
remember
the-
you as well.
Like if you slash him across the throat, now there's a giant scar of where you last fought him.
That's so
Or, like,
cool.
Oh.
And
Okay,
so
that's
basically
pretty cool.
you form just enemies or I guess
Nemesis.
sometimes
Yeah.
your nemesis. And what's really, really great is at the very beginning, you can be fighting. It doesn't have to even be one of these guys on the list.
Yeah,
So
it could
there's,
just be a
you know,
grunt. Regular
it could
grunt.
be just some random dude, and he can. I remember I got killed during one of my attempts to play through it, and this guy, just a random dude, stabbed me from behind, and I got shot with an arrow and couldn't recover. And so he got the credit for it, and he was like, yeah. And it shows his normal character with like his normal crappy name. And then he got upgraded. And so now he has like a helmet and armor and stuff on him. And as he progresses up the chain, he gets like new titles and stuff. And he basically becomes like, I need to find and kill that guy. Because
fuck that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's vengeance.
But wait.
And
is it possible then to keep finding the same orc, keep getting killed by him, and just eventually make him be the final boss in a way?
He could become so powerful that it'd be very hard to deal with. Every time they gain a power rating, they usually lose some of their weaknesses, and they gain more strengths. So by the time you're fighting like one of the war chiefs who's very high power, he's going to have like a gang of orcs around him. He's going to be basically vulnerable to almost nothing. And you have to go around and kind of interrogating orcs to find out the weaknesses of the captains, or even who they are and where they are. You can stumble across them. Like, I stumbled across a pack of 3 of them at one point, just at random. Like, I started a fight with one of them, and then 2 more came in, and I got wrecked. Because, like, 3 captains, all with different powers, all fighting you, very hard to kill. Especially when you're also trying to deal with 10 other orcs who are trying to attack you.
And some of them, they all have different abilities, like an ability list. Like, these are things they are good at. These are things
there's
they
guys
fear.
with poison. There's guys with explosive arrows. Some of them,
And
like,
sometimes,
if you try and jump over them, they'll throw you down. Yeah.
Sometimes there's, like, they're basically Starscream. Sometimes you meet a Starscream where he's like, he will fight you until you start to hurt him, and then he'll run from the battle. And if you let him escape, he gets away. And it's like, see you next time. And it's like, no! Because he has all these guys gang up on you, so you're too busy trying to live, and then he'll just be, like, sneaking out of the battle and vanish, and you're like, you son of a...
Oh, I got an ability which lets you pin people down by shooting them in the leg. That's super useful for stopping that from happening. You just shoot them in the leg, they get stuck down, then you just go and stab them in the back of the head. It's wonderful.
It's a really, really fun mechanic, and because it changes based on what you do, it makes it feel more involved in what's going on.
Yeah.
And so your mission, which is, like, make 5 captains your own, or make 3 captains your own, or whatever it is, it's really fun because the ways you can go about doing it is, if you want, you can go straight for the captains that exist right now. You can go make those generals yours, or you can pick a guy who's really low on the totem pole and then
start
make
to build
him
them up.
rise through the ranks.
Yeah, because you can help him on missions, and like you basically act from the shadows. Like a lot of those missions, I like to just get up high and then just start picking people off and stealth killing people, and just not really getting directly involved. And it is kind of great. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. You get the ability to like send a death threat. Like you can interrogate an orc and send a death threat to one of the captains, and he'll power up. He'll like gain a gang, and because he's super paranoid. But it also increases the chance of getting an epic rune drop and things from him. So
right, there is no
the whole system's just great. Like it's so much fun.
There is no like hard, medium, easy difficulties. Everything's one difficulty, but then you decide how to.
So it's dynamic.
Yeah, and when you die, the
send
game
death
gets harder
threats.
because usually when you die, time advances, which usually means that all of the activities the orc captains are trying to do, like they're trying to recruit, or they're getting involved in a duel, or there's a trial by ordeal, they all complete if you die because time advances and they get more powerful. And if someone killed you, then they get more power, very much more powerful because they gain the reputation that they killed the Grave Walker. So
basically, give it a couple months and you're going to see people doing like extreme runs where they just power up everyone as much as possible, then try to beat the game from the beginning.
I think so. There's some DLC mode which I don't really approve of. It's kind of bound into that is kind of similar because it's designed solely around just like playing the Nemesis system and the side missions and not doing any of the main story stuff. And apparently it shuffles everything up, so it's a more different experience. You've even got shit like you can do vendetta missions. If like people on your friends list or whatever got killed by a certain boss, you can then go and hunt that boss down for vengeance, which is a cool little idea.
Yeah. Going back to what we were talking about with Assassin's Creed 4, it's very much like that whole, the pirate part's awesome. The rest of the game was junk. My fear, I'm only a few hours in, so I can't make any judgments. My fear is that I desperately want the story part of Shadow of Mordor to be good, because the rest of it is fantastic.
Golem's part in it, by the way, is excellent. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the original voice actor, or it's a very good...
it's totally different guy. Sounds exactly like him.
Yeah, he sounds exactly. I could not tell the difference. And his writing is spot fucking on, and he sings. So there's also orc drinking songs, which I love. Like that's
all right.
brilliant.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I definitely. I can't wait to play it, but also I can't wait for somebody to take the Oprah Bees gif and just replace Oprah with the main
Bees!
character. Bees!
And all the orcs going like,
That would be great if someone can do
That's
that.
what I want.
All right, here's what I'll do. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Here's a contest. I will give a copy of Shadow of Mordor to the person that does that the best.
wow.
Go.
But the best is so subjective, though, TB.
Yeah, well, I will judge, of course.
Oh, shit.
It's my
All right.
contest. I can cry if I want to.
High standards on this one.
Yep, yep.
Very high standards.
Yep, you remake the Opera Bees gif using kind of Shadow of Mordor, orcs being covered in bees and shit. The best one, I will give a copy of Shadow of Mordor to. Of course, that would be... It's a bit tricky because you don't have the game, but you'll have to find footage from like other people's playthroughs and shit to do
Where do they submit it?
They can post it on my subreddit. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
You know what? The
I'm
best.
going to look at that list. That
My
thread is going
favorite
to be
part of
amazing.
Shadow of Mordor so far, and this is it's not a spoiler, but you see Sauron pre-Sauron. Fantastic.
There's a lot of again, this is why it's great that it's connected to Silmarillion because you learn a
Silmarillion.
lot about Sauron other than Sauron is evil. You know,
Yeah.
but it's no, you learn
He's
much
an
more than that.
eyeball.
Yeah.
You get
This-
backstory. It's pretty great.
There's a lot of audio logs in that game. You find artifacts, and you kind of have to rotate the 3D models to find this memory point on it. The problem is you can't walk around listening to them. You've got to fucking sit in the goddamn menu and listen to it. But it's pretty cool. And every time you get one, the main character also comments on it instead of just kind of ignoring that it happened. So yeah, deadline. Let's make it by next week. So October the 7th. That sounds good.
There you go.
Fight valiantly, sirs and madams.
Yes, let's see
Oh,
what. You can do.
Bees.
The bees. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm
I
just
love that
generally
gift
pretty
so
happy
much.
with that game. Like, it was a, I don't know if it was a huge surprise because it was Monolith making it, but it just turned out to be a really, really good open world game. So, I'm happy with that. Which is why it makes it all the more fucking stupid that they didn't give out review copies. It's like, your game is good! What the fuck are you afraid of? Come on. You don't need to pull this marketing bullshit. People are going to play it anyway. Yeah.
Didn't they do the same thing with Batman Arkham Asylum when that first came out? I seem to remember reviews
can't
for that
recall.
game being incredibly late.
Were they? They may have been.
Yeah.
Actually, let's. I'm gonna find that out because that's if they did
Look
pull
it
the same
up.
shit with that. That's again another Warner Brothers thing. I just think it's how Warner Brothers currently does things, and I just don't like how they do things. Like, come on, you know. I suppose it's because Warner Brothers comes from the film industry, and they just have different practices. But yeah, it's so silly because like almost everything you release is good. Why the hell are you worried?
Maybe they're worried they're just going to turn into another EA. Remember, EA's won, was it Worst Company of the Year 2 years in a row?
Yes, quite.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at kind of the dates of the reviews, and yeah, it seems like some of them were pretty late. Weird. Okay, what else have we been playing this week? Oh, can I talk about Fibbage?
I'm actually really
how
curious
is
about
Fibbage?
this.
Yeah, so we have we've got some friends over for a week or so, and we decided to play Fibbage. We went into it having no idea what it was, and we were very surprised when it said, pick up your smartphones. And like, what? And we were like trying to figure out what it was all about. So Fibbage is by the guys that made You Don't Know
You
Jack.
don't know Jack.
And it's a very simple game, but it's a very fun party game. And it's about lying. It's a bluffing game. So we got it on PS4, and it said, all right, you got to sync your smartphones to it. And like, fuck. So we like get like iPads and smartphones and shit. And it was actually really easy. We thought we'd have to download an app or something. You just have to, it's a web-based client. So you just have to put in the room code and a name, and it instantly connects. I assume it uses like Wi-Fi Direct or something to directly connect to your PlayStation 4. And the... Yes, Jesse?
Okay. The guy who does the voice, Liam O'Brien, the guy who does the voice of Gollum in Shadow of Mordor, is the voice of Illidan in Warcraft.
Wow, that's an impressive range. Yep.
Apparently,
Impressive
he has thousands of credits in video games, so
Oh, there you go.
I guess he's baller. Well,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, so anyway, the game is about bluffing. So they ask you a bunch of really obscure questions, and they say, blah, 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 blah is blank. And you've got to put in your answer. Now, you've got to put in one that's like convincing enough to maybe be real, to be able to fool people. Because there's going to be the right answer on the screen, and then a bunch of wrong answers that are generated by the users. And they type them in on their phone or their iPad or whatever. So everyone has a separate screen, so they can do it privately. And then you pick which one you believe is the right one. and it then tells you. And if you fool people, you get points. And if you guess the right one, you also get points. And it's really that simple. Like,
this sounds like a word-based version of, was it Dixit or Pixit? The card game where you have like to figure out the meaning of a card.
Dixit is more like story-based, though.
I imagine there is a card game that's very similar to this. I mean, obviously there's like some crossover with Cards Against Humanity and things like that, although people just, in Cards Against Humanity, it's like, which is the funniest?
Making people laugh. Yeah.
Is Balderdash like that game?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It sounds like Balderdash, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it is probably quite like Balderdash then, but the implementation is just nice because you've got the announcer who runs you through everything, keeps the pace going. The games are quite short; they're about maybe 10 to 15 minutes in length, and there's like 3 rounds where the points value increases, and there's like a final round where you can earn a bunch, and it's fun to play the room. Really, because if you know your friends very well, then you also know what you can kind of fool them with or what you can get away with. Sometimes, I've got to admit, we did put in some answers that were clearly not true. There was one about this lizard, and it's like, due to its unusual mating habits, this lizard is called the blank lizard. And I just said the fuck lizard. I just can I get anyone to pick fuck lizard? Apparently not, but it was worth it just to have the word fuck lizard on the screen. So.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Now, since it's You Don't Know Jack, is it Cookie that's doing the commentary?
Yes.
Or?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so he's good.
Best host they ever had.
Yeah, does a very good job. It's just fun. Like, it's a cheap game. Obviously, you need smartphones, but most people have a smartphone. It will run on anything. We thought, is it compatible with this? It's just a web-based client. It'll run on anything that has a web browser, basically. So you just type in the 4-digit room code, and it connects instantly, and there's no lag or anything. Really impressive technology, actually.
That's cool,
very cool.
Yeah.
I would love to see more games like that. And I think smartphone implementation in those party games is really a good idea, simply because most people own a smartphone. So, it's not a specialized device. It's something that you probably have anyway. So,
and you're right. It's also nice that it doesn't make you download an app.
Yeah.
Because that would be the barrier that would make people be like, this is a lot of extra work.
Yeah, so this is a lot of work. But no, connecting is really fast. Like, they even put a QR code on the screen if you couldn't be bothered to type fibbage.com. So... Yeah, it's fun. I mean, frankly, I'd be surprised if they don't just bring it out on smart devices and have a central smart device be the thing. Because you don't need a PlayStation 4 to run that. You could do that with just a phone and other phones. But I guess then you'd need, like, a lot of phones. I don't know.
Is it not on Steam yet? I know it's on Xbox One and PS4, but it's not on Steam or anywhere else?
No, I imagine that they probably won't put it on Steam because most of the audience doesn't run their computer, like, through a television or whatever, although it's entirely possible to do so. And I think, like, even things... We were talking about Towerfall a while ago, and the fact that only has local multiplayer, and the fact that it probably hasn't sold that well on PC as a result. And it's like, well, it's nice to have local multiplayer as an option, but I feel if you release a game that's just local multiplayer on PC, you're probably going to have a bad time, because most of your demographic doesn't actually plug their PC into a television and play couch co-op and shit like that. But it's cool when they do. It's not like they can't do it. It's just I think it has to be an option instead of required. But yeah, Fibbage is great fun. Nice little party game to play with friends.
What else have you been playing, TB?
I played some Planetary Annihilation. Played a bit of that against one of the guys who's over is the captain of our South Korean esports team. So he's pretty good at RTS. But I managed to beat him once. And
nice.
I was proud. He destroyed me the first game. Like, he had 5 times the units I did. We compared the actions per minute. And it's like, he had, like, 150 actions per minute. Which doesn't sound very good if you play StarCraft, but like...
Yeah, I was going to say, StarCraft-wise, that's not, like, amazing.
That's not that high, but in Planetary Annihilation, a lot of stuff's automated, so you don't have to do as many actions per minute. I had 12. 12 actions per minute is like, that's why I got wrecked. But in the second game, I said, right, I'm going to tech rush, and I'm going to, like... do some crazy shit. I put, like, orbital weapons platforms around the planet, which he didn't know about, so he ran his army into them. It's just lasers fucking coming from the sky. And then I built tier 2 mortar tanks, and he tried to rush me with, like, 100 of these basic tanks, and just these mortar tanks fire halfway across the map and blow up, like, half the screen. So he was just getting completely destroyed. So far it's a lot of fun, but I need to keep playing it to figure out whether or not it has any longevity. It's got some really interesting ideas, but simultaneously the idea that the map is a sphere, so you can't really defend yourself from all directions efficiently, is really kind of weird, and it takes a lot of getting used to. And also the idea that you have to fly from planet to planet, and you can put boosters on a planet and crash it into another planet, and crazy shit like that. You can convert a planet into an actual Death Star as like the top tier
you guys
thing.
were explaining that to me a couple podcasts ago, and I still don't entirely understand it. I feel like I'd have to play it to really...
It's weird. Like, it plays a lot like Total Annihilation and Supreme Commander, so like the building system's very similar, but there's some of the stuff they've done with that game is so completely off the wall that it's really, really weird. Like, battling on multiple maps simultaneously is a thing you can do. I was like, whoa, I don't know how I'd even control this, you know? But I mean, so far I've had a decent amount of fun with it. It's a shame there's only one faction. Right? They only decided to do one faction because of balance reasons or whatever, and I assume because of money. But like Supreme Commander had like 4, they all had their own different like experimental units, and they don't really have that. So I mean, so far it's been okay. I've had fun playing it with a friend, but I'm not 100% convinced about its longevity. We'll see. Seems alright.
Yeah.
But I think outside of like playing Hearthstone, that's probably been about it.
Oh, you're back on the Hearthstone? I thought you said you were calling it quits for a while.
It was because I wanted to play with my guests. Like, we all got together to do the Fireside thing where you get the exclusive card back if you have a certain number of people on your network. So we all did that.
Gotcha.
So we played a bunch of games.
Nerds.
Yeah.
You've got the handshakes like you're thinking about going back to it right now.
Hearthstone. It keeps dragging me back in. Yeah. I played a little bit more. I played a few arenas and it was pretty fun, and I'm still kind of cooled off on that game compared to previously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's probably about it. So I think the only person we haven't talked to yet is Jesse. Yeah, outside of Hyrule Warriors, Jesse, have you been up to anything else?
Middle Earth, been playing it. Gauntlet, talked about that already. The only thing, I mean, I've been playing a lot of Destiny still because I'm trying to get
playing that.
God damn it!
Are you changing your opinion? Like, what is your opinion overall?
Oh,
on that?
I still think it sucks. I hate Destiny.
But you're still playing it, right?
Well, because now that I'm playing with friends, it's like it's crazy. But doing things with friends is actually fun.
Friends, you know.
Yeah. So it's playing with friends is fun, but we're playing what I consider to be a shit game. But because they all love it, their enthusiasm makes it fun for me.
Oh, okay.
And so we, and they're all like almost cap at 30, and I'm like, I'm just hitting level 20. This is great. And we breeze through stuff, and it's a lot of fun. But oh god, there was I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but there was a really great post on Reddit that you can't confirm if it's real or not, but it's some guy taking a bunch of news articles and different theories and compiling it all into one, basically like, this is what happened to the game, about how like the writers quit and how all this stuff went down. It might not be real, but it sounds very plausible. Like, just the way the game turned out, it sounds very plausible. Like, it was a train wreck from the beginning. And it feels that way.
It was ridiculously ambitious. And I find that ridiculously ambitious projects generally don't know how to reach that ambition. They have these lofty kind of pie-in-the-sky goals, and then when asked, well, how are you going to implement that? They're like, I guess we'll think about that later.
I always felt that like Bungie kind of shot themselves in the foot when they split up into 3-4-3. Because I feel like they lost a lot of their key people by doing that. And then that was kind of slowing down progress in general.
Yeah.
Some people in chat basically it came out that the lead writer left and they completely redid the game. They cut a bunch of stuff in order to cover up the fact that the game like wasn't a complete story. And there's a bunch of things. Here's what happened that I think says a lot is they just did an update. And for a brief moment, there was a bug in the game that showed you other planets and other maps and the things that you could do. Okay. And it was basically, it's in the game, you just don't have access to it. Because F you. And I was like, God.
It's a weird bug that makes it so you can't do any missions, but at the same time, it shows you all of the missions that are in the game still that are supposed to be released with expansions.
DLC, yeah.
Yep.
So aggravating. So I am I'm of the I don't want to play and I hate the game and I don't want to play, but every once in a while I'm like, all my friends are on right now. Yeah. I guess I'll play with them. And it's so freaking because they love it. They love it. And I'm just like, I can't functionally handle this game. So yeah, I've been suffering through that.
I feel like if you're already at level 20 and we haven't found the thing that will hook you, I don't think you're ever going
to. There's no hook. Yeah. There is no. It's sort of like playing at this point. It's like playing a FPS with friends, and just because all we do is like Crucible, which is the PvP stuff, or raids, and that's it. Like, there's nothing else to do. It's 90% garbage. Like, the game is just so effing.
Am I the only one who has the opinion that the thing that really saves Borderlands is the writing on it?
Yes.
I personally think the writing's fucking terrible, but I do like...
Yeah, no, but I guess the goofiness of it is really what...
Yeah, I guess that's like, some people really love it,
games.
and then some people really hate it. I'm on the hate side, and then the other guys really love it. But I think it does help a lot, because the game, I will admit, does not take itself seriously.
Yeah.
Which means the whole getting loot and weird shit happening and strange bosses makes sense. And Destiny's like, take me seriously, like, constantly. Like, no, we can't. It's a game about loot drops.
And I think that's the problem I have with Destiny, is that, like, I can't take it seriously. Well, Borderlands just doesn't even try to do that. It's kind of like the Saints Row versus GTA thing. Except both are more competent games, I'd argue.
Yeah, maybe.
And I mean, everything about Destiny, it annoys me. From the fact that 90% of the missions are Peter Dinklage escort missions, to the fact that hard mode is bullet sponge. Right? Hard mode isn't hard. It's just
hating that about Borderlands. You know, I wouldn't play Borderlands with 4 people because everyone became a bullet sponge, and it was really annoying. Right. If I shoot someone with a gun, it's supposed to die.
Like PvP, because all the items are different, right? PvP, the way they tried to even it out is you can be like level 1 and still play with someone else who's level 30. But the problem is that certain aspects of your weapons are still, like, if your weapon has a better fire rate, that doesn't change. So they might take away some of the bonuses, but your better weapon is still better, right? And so that's unfair. The raids are essentially just like WoW-y style raids, but then all the enemies, boss enemies and whatnot, are also used as normal mobs too. So eventually,
that's WoW in a nutshell, isn't it? It's like, hey, it's another core hound.
Like you find a like ogre monster at one point, and then later on he's just, oh god, this guy's so difficult and he's such a boss, and then it looks cool because he's huge, and then later on you fight like 4 of them because they're just normal mobs and it's easier to kill them or whatever. It's like,
that is
everything
early
about
WoW.
this.
That is early WoW.
Every once in a while they'll throw in story scenes, and you get like a cutscene. It's like, oh cool, I wonder what's gonna happen, and the cutscene is literally just like the one that we did last night was basically one cutscene is a woman's watching you from a cliff, and it's like, oh, who's that? I don't know. See you next cutscene. And then the next cutscene is the woman's like, if you want to find out more, find me on Venus. And that's the cutscene. It's like, what is even happening? Why don't you explain anything to
the
these
whole game
cutscenes?
story-wise seems like a giant fucking cock tease. Like, it's like, I could tell you, but I don't have time. You do! Like,
It is...
Tell me something about this. Do you even know? Like, that's what I've really got to wonder. Is this lost? Is this lost right now? Do they actually know what's going on?
She's made of smoke, is how this is going to go.
Here's the thing. And so that Reddit post, what makes it seem very true to me is the fact that there's stuff in there that they hint at in the game, and you can see little pieces of it, but isn't in the game, right? And so there's things that you can say, like, there was definitely a story here at one point, and they gutted the story because whatever reason, like, I guess they, had no one to write it or whatever. But you can see it in there, and that's what makes it even more frustrating, because there's a world, and then when you complete a story thing, it goes, bring, to find out more, go to Bungie.net.
website. Oh,
man.
That is the laziest bullshit ever. I'm going to say this. I am going to be very, very happy to play Destiny in a year when it comes out on PC with more content. When they have all the DLC,
like,
we get to play the Game of the Year edition, which actually has a complete story with the bugs fixed and shitloads more content. I will embrace it. It can come onto me. Not like that, but I will play it then. But right now, no.
TB's not joking. TB, when he says there's a line in the game where it's like, I could tell you more, but you... That is a
There's one I don't have time to explain
game.
why I don't have time to explain. Is an actual line from that game.
Like, that's almost every cutscene. And here's the thing. There's a ton of stuff in this world, and they have amazing voice actors who are legitimate real actors, but they're relegated to the item vendor. And you're like, oh, I know that voice. That guy's really famous. And he's like, welcome to the item store. What do you want? It's like, what is going on in this game? Oh, I just can't even... I can't handle it.
Phoned
and then my
in
friends
the
are like, "Do you want to
video
play?"
game.
I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Fuck me, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, Rise Son of Rome's doing that, where that game is finally coming to PC, and they're like, we'll just include literally every expansion and DLC that has happened
cool.
so far.
Might be
Also,
all
we're
right.
getting rid of all of the microtransactions. I'm just like,
As usual, buying first on a console, terrible idea. Wait for it to come out on PC, cheaper with all the fucking content, and it runs better. It's like, look at how well it runs. Like, cool. I don't know if it's going to make the game any good, but, I never played it on Xbox One, because frankly, I looked at it, I'm like, this seems like QTE, the video game. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Jesse, you
said there
beat
wasn't
it.
as much QTE
No,
in it
Jesse,
as
you
it
beat it,
appeared,
didn't you, right?
Do not buy Rise.
Oh,
Don't.
okay.
I'm letting you all know.
All right.
Do not invest hours of your life in that game, because the end of it will slap you in the face and be like, "Thanks for playing, bitch." It is the worst.
But didn't they put a bunch of
ending of that
DLC in
game-
it? Does that help?
You probably sold more copies by just saying that.
No, the ending of that game will anger you. You will be so, because it is so awful, and you expect the payoff, and the payoff is that fuck you. There is no payoff. It is the worst.
I want to go play my copy right now because you just said that.
No, you won't. Here's the thing.
I
You'll
don't
start
care
playing
about
and
endings
you'll realize
for the
how
most
bad
part,
it was, and you'll
so
be like,
if I enjoyed the ride, I'm not really concerned about the destination. I don't know.
no,
We'll see.
the ride's awful. That's the
Oh, is
problem.
it? Okay.
The
fuck it.
ride's bad. The ride is.
you're
is-
trying to get through it just so that you can be like, all right, where is this all leading to? And then
And
at
it
the
leads
end,
to
you're just like,
fucking nothing.
bleh.
No, because it makes you. The game makes you feel like a badass Roman general, and you're like, all right, I'm out for vengeance, and I'm doing like my Maximus, and I'm gonna go kick ass. And you go through this whole story, which by the way is so convoluted. I don't know what the hell's going on 9% of the time, but it's fun because F history. It's fun. And then you get to the end after playing. By the way, the game mechanics suck, and so you get fighting with the controller the entire time. You get to the end, and it's like, sorry, this is the ending you get. Deal with it, ass. And it's like, go watch the last video that I made. Go watch the last video, the last 20 minutes, and watch a man lose his shit because it's that bad. It is so bad.
Is it
that
worse
I
than
was
when you
like,
went off on Final Fantasy 13-3? Like,
oh, well, Final Fantasy 13-3, I just dejectedly.
you
in the
just
video was
gave
like,
up
I'm
on it
done.
after 2 videos. You're like,
I'm
fuck
done.
this game.
Yeah, no, I was.
I love
was,
that. I know that it hurts you, Jesse, it hurts your heart places, but I love that after 2 videos of that game, you were like, fuck this game. I'm done. I can't do it.
You don't even want to get me started. I saw the Final Fantasy 15 trailer, and I was like, I'm out. I'm just out of life.
But you could drive in a car. It's like, Cloud goes to White Castle, basically. It's
God, it's so bad. It's so, and the worst part is if you're of any feminist persuasion, you should be furious with this game, because everything they showed so far was a bunch of J-pop dudes running around like, we've got to go to, and then they showed one girl, and she's like, oh, I can't leave this table I'm at. It is it's garbage.
Stop it.
It's garbage.
Stop poking the feminists, please.
You're
all I'm
basing
saying
it on
is-
a trailer.
Exactly.
On a trailer.
John, it sucks. Final Fantasy 15 sucks. Go watch Final Fantasy Type 0. Go watch the thing for Final Fantasy Type 0. It's like the Lassie and the Inu Kori joined forces with the Platinum Legion. And then they ventured forth to the islands of Fujimura. It's like, what the fuck does any of this mean? This is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I fucking hate Final Fantasy now. I am so mad. They killed what I loved. They killed it with shit. With shit. I fucking hate you, Square Enix. I hope you get video game herpes and you just die. You just die. God damn, you are bad.
Oh, Jesse, I'm glad that I've known you long enough now that I've seen this happen. I've seen the ramp from, I'm going to keep buying them. I know that they're bad now, but I think that they'll get better. And then just, I'm starting to get really frustrated with these games. I really hope that they get it together to just fuck Square Enix. They suck forever.
I would have died. There was a time that I would have died on that hill for Square Enix and be like, they'll turn it around. They'll do it, guys. And it was just, it's like watching. Basically, if this is a marriage, they've betrayed my trust. And we're getting a divorce. We're done. I can't handle. Here's the thing, though. Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, I'll be like, yeah, baby, best game ever. Fuck you, Square Enix. God damn it.
After the break, we'll be talking about the news. You're watching the Co-Optional Podcast. Don't go anywhere. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast for the last 40 or so minutes of the show. Jesse, I'd like to congratulate you on something.
Oh, Jesus, what?
Congratulations on passing Kotaku on the Steam Curators list.
Oh, it's a good congratulations. I was expecting. I like how every time you say anything, I'm like, oh God, what I do?
Hey,
now?
Jesse, I'd like to congratulate you for being a piece of shit.
That's more like
there
it.
you go.
Yeah. Yep, you passed Kotaku, so congratulations. Dodger, where's your anime bullshit list? It's not done yet.
I have 7 things on it because I've realized that most of the anime bullshit games that I play are not good games, and I don't want to recommend them to people.
That's why it's the anime bullshit list. It's fine.
I know, but I don't want to like recommend games and have the little thing that pops up be, this is actually a fucking terrible game. Please don't play it. It's like,
No, honestly, that's the problem that I have too. Like, there's certain games that I want to recommend. Like, I really want to recommend Mass Effect 2. The problem is I don't know how to justify recommending 2 and not recommending 1 or 3.
Well,
and I don't know how to put that on my
very easily justify
list.
not recommending 3 because it's not on Steam. That was Origin only.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like I don't want to say like, because I honestly, I wasn't a big fan of Mass Effect 1. I was like, the story
A lot
seemed
of
pretty
people
generic.
were. Because, well, I mean, I don't even know if it was just the story. Like, mechanically, it's very different to 2.
It was mechanically like going around on the planets and stuff like that. A lot of people hated that.
Yeah,
among other
2. A
things.
lot of people like 2. I think 2 is a better game than 1. Like, I missed
2's great.
some. I
2's
missed some of
fantastic.
the stuff it took out, but it's almost like 1. It didn't know if it was supposed to be a traditional RPG or something else entirely, like a third-person shooter with RPG elements. And 2, it's like, no, we're a third-person shooter with RPG elements. Let's go.
And then there's like, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, did 2 on PC have like that retelling of the first game that the PS3 version did that you could just use to catch up, or like know what the
Can't
plot of the
remember.
first
It's
game
been a
is?
long time.
Yeah.
If it
Like-
do that, like then that's an easy recommendation. It's like you can skip the first one, use this mode.
Yeah, but it seems weird because then it's like, yeah, no, I really recommend Mass Effect 2, but you can't get the third one on Steam. And number 1, I would say skip it and play the second one. So, like, it's a really weird. Like, there's other ones that
You don't have
like,
to recommend
especially
3 anyway. It's not very good, I've been told.
Yeah,
Like, the ending
there's-
is... Well, I mean, I've seen the ending. The ending's fucking
Here's the
terrible.
thing. I liked Mass Effect 3 up until the ending. I thought the
A lot of
journey
people
to the ending
did.
was really, really good. And then I got to the ending and was like, well, that was half-assed.
Well,
And it didn't
from what
really
I
make any
understand is it
sense.
invalidates the whole process of the journey because none of the shit you did mattered in any way. Like, it
Yeah.
boiled everything down to a set of points.
But you know why that was the case? So they made too many branching paths in the story. So it
Yeah,
got
they
to a
couldn't bring
point
them all
where they had
together.
to rein it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I guess is the problems when you have branching paths, isn't it? You know?
Well, and you spaced it over 3 games.
Yeah. Three
It's
colors.
very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I picked a weird. I'll tell you one thing. Having a curator list and watching it get like as far as it did up to that, I'm sure TB has this too, but he probably has a little more leeway. I've gotten a lot of emails from developers out of the woodwork,
yeah.
like, "Hey,
Shitloads.
what do you think you could put our? We know you liked our game that one time. Do you think you could put it on?" I was like, "I'm only doing story games. If
Yeah.
you make a game that has a good story, I will put it on my list."
We've had a lot of people that have done that, and then there's 2 kinds. There's like the guys who I don't really blame, who are like, oh yeah, we're just going to email you to kind of say, yeah, you know, so we think that you liked our game at this one point. Would you mind putting us on the list? Which I think is a reasonable request. Which I've said no to basically, because if it's not on my list, it's either because I haven't got to it yet, because I'm at like I think mid 2011 on my back catalog, so I'm still like finishing that kind of stuff off. But the further back I get, the more careful I've got to be, because I've got to make sure that game like didn't go to hell later, or that there isn't,
you have to like double
maybe
check
it's
it and play it
unplayable
again.
now, you know. So I have to double check all that shit. So I've been doing a bunch more research for it. And then there's the guys, so it's like, we'd love you to put the game on the list, and we're willing to offer you money to do it. And we've had, I think, 4 requests like that, and that's like, fucking stop it. Stop it.
And this is like, it's a problem for me because there are many games like I'd love to have a list called like games I freaking love and include it, but that's not the list that I made. Like I would,
You can make more than a list, but obviously it becomes a pain in the ass to curate them all. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like I would really like to include something like Guns of Icarus on my list. Like I'd love to throw that on there, but there's no. I was like,
game. Yeah.
there's no story. When they put it in a story mode, if they have story, I will gladly put that on there if it's good. But it's one of those things where it's really hard because it made it story-driven games, and so people are like, throw Bastion on there, and I'm like, what? It had a story, but was that what drove the game? Like, it's one of those things where it's like really hard for me to decide.
I don't know. I'd say that it did. I think the narrator very much forced it down your throat, right?
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, people more remember the narrator than they do the plot of the game.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. It's like, can you remember the plot? It's like, no, but I can remember when he said that I was busting up some barrels,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of games that I really want to include, but having a story does not equal story driven. And so it becomes very hard to, like, there's some, like, Longest Journey, of course, has to be on that list. And I'm so thankful people are like, I didn't even know that. Like Indiana Jones, The Fate of Atlantis. I'm so glad no one knew that was on Steam. I was like, that game is the best.
When did that get on Steam?
Good question.
I have no clue.
But
no
it's
clue.
on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a couple of moments like that too, where I was like, this is a game. I don't think that it's on Steam, but I'll search for it anyway. And I'm like, oh man, Planetarian is totally on Steam. Did not realize. And then that gets to be on the list.
Yeah, I got some stuff like that as well, particularly when I've been digging back through a bunch of other stuff where it's like people are just reminded of it. I think after I've done the stuff that I've done videos on, I'll probably have to look towards doing some recommendations. Like, I don't think I've recommended Sacrifice yet. I know that's on Steam, although I think the GOG version's probably better. But it's still playable on Steam, so I'd like to do add that to the list and maybe go back and look for some of the really old stuff. But then I've got to also check that the damn thing still works, because Steam willingly sells games that don't fucking work half the time, so you've got to be careful about that.
Yeah. And a lot of people are like mentioning games in chat. There's a lot of games that I just haven't had time to play. A lot of people are like, play Alan Wake. I haven't had time to play it. If I play it and it's good, I'll throw it on there. But
yeah, totally.
I'm not going to throw stuff on there that I heard had a good story, because then that's not genuine. That's being an asshole. So
yeah.
We'll see.
I wanted to just link to stuff that I have videos on, because you can only post 152 characters. I wanted people to have something to refer to. Like, it's like, oh, you believe that? Let's see the evidence. It's like, well, here's the evidence. But there's still a couple of games here and there that I somehow never got around to making videos of that I've kind of popped on the list anyway. Like Puzzle Quest. I put Puzzle Quest on the list because it's fucking great. Because it's great!
Here's the thing, though. Like, maybe it's the version of Puzzle Quest I played. It was an awesome concept. But it was very obvious the AI was cheating.
Which version did you play?
DS. That might have made the difference.
I don't know.
That might have made the difference.
I wasn't really I know the AI does cheat a little bit, but I wasn't like too bothered by it. I think like the end boss I was a bit pissed off by, but most of the time I love Puzzle Quest. I absolutely adored that game. And everything after it was terrible. Like Puzzle Quest 2, Puzzle Quest Galactrix, the Marvel Superheroes one that's got a bunch of microtransactions in it.
Forgot about all of those.
Yeah. But I put that one in there. I put King's Bounty Armored Princess on there as well, because that game is phenomenal, but I just never got around to doing a video on it. But I'm just being careful about stuff like that. I don't know. I don't even know how influential it is. Probably not very. If the top.
Well, you're on the front page. At least when I loaded up Steam last night. So I mean, I could see that being a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's helped the channel a little bit, but not that much. I've looked at some of the view spikes, and they're not that big. But when you think about it, if Steam has 100 million users or whatever, and the top curator has 230,000 followers, that's insignificant.
Right.
So we'll see. I think it's going to get more influential over time, obviously, because more people start to follow the curators and things like that. But I don't think it's the most important part of the system at all.
It's also been out for what, a week?
Yeah, of course. And they're probably going to change things around and make things work in different ways.
Oh, you know they will. Like, we can't have this biscuit telling people what to buy. Change the algorithms.
Well, currently the algorithm seems to be we show the recommendation from the person who has the most followers, which is always me. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure that the first thing they're going to change is they're going to make it like a random thing. It's like a random curator said this.
I mean,
I've
said this before. Like, it should be recommending you curators firmly based on like your algorithm. I think it started to do that because it started to recommend some unusual curators to me when I'm logged into Steam. Let me just have a look at it right now, because on if I'm not logged into Steam, it recommends like the top 6 curators, and Jesse's.
It only recommends me. When I log in and see my own account, it says recommended for you, and it's just my recommendations. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Although now, like on my Steam client, when I'm logged in, it now isn't showing that at all for some reason, because it's now just showing recommended by curators you follow. So it's basically me and Jim Sterling, which is kind of pointless because we all own the same games anyway. But
There's another list that's like an anime sort of list.
Yeah.
But it cracks me up because they have a lot of followers because they have a pretty good list of games.
Yeah.
But it's like they just put every single anime style
all of
game
them?
on there.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you know, where you get to type in whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
It literally just says the genre. So you'll go to the page for like, say, Hatoful Boyfriend, right? And if you scroll down, since they're the top curator that has that on their list, it'll say a dating sim. You're like, thank
lovely.
you.
That helps.
Narrows it down a lot.
Kinetic novel. I'm like, thanks. I didn't know. I couldn't figure that out from the description. Like,
But on the plus
it's so
side,
weird.
Falling Skies, the video game, was just released by developer Taurus Games, whose storied history involves Barbie Dreamhouse Party, which currently has 92% positive recommendation on Steam, because that's how Steam fucking works, because people just write joke reviews. So if I go to Barbie Dreamhouse Party, I will give you a selection of wonderful things. Makes me want to do meth and become a lesbian. 10 out of 10. Recommended by 3,250 people. Like Skyrim with guns. IGN. 10 out of 10. Can't stop fapping. Sexy out of 10. That robot scared me. Probably some sort of hentai involving tentacles. This is useless shit. Someone posted a fucking review that's upside down. All the texture's upside down for no reason. And now that's rated as like 92% positive. Oh, Jesus God. Oh, God. Yes, but I have a feeling Falling Skies, the game, might not be that good.
What are you talking about? Tentacles and lesbians, man.
But
That's what I got out of that.
It's got some weird, like, XCOM shit going on, though. Like, it appears to actually be like an XCOM-like game, which is very odd. In fact, it looks... Whoa, this... Have a look at the screenshots for this. Tell me this does not look like XCOM.
Did you swing that fast from hating the game because of Barbie to loving it because it looks like XCOM?
Well, no, because it'll probably be a terrible version of XCOM, but, like, this thing looks identical to XCOM. Like, if the UI is quite similar.
All right, I think I found the curator that Dodger was talking about. There's one that literally just says, coming soon. What? You can't say that.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, every anime-ish game, they just put on the list, and then they're like, this is a dating sim. This is a visual novel. This is a kinetic novel. And I'm like, that's...
This one,
What the hell's a kinetic novel?
This one
it means there are
literally
no
says,
choices.
This literally
So
says...
it's just a novel,
The
then?
book.
Placeholder.
It's a book. Yeah, a kinetic novel is one that gets thrown at your head at a rapid pace.
All right, page 1 has a bunch of stuff that has like, you know, like coming soon or like from the writer of Spice and Wolf. It's a visual novel. And then page 2, every single thing on there says placeholder, 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 placeholder. Why even do...
Because you gotta get them early. Gotta get them in early. There was some weird changes, like Kotaku recommending that game that wasn't out for like 6 months, but then they eventually removed that from the list. I think there's probably, I haven't like done too much research on it, but I imagine there's probably a few YouTubers that have lists that have most likely put Shadow of Mordor on the list, even though they did a brand deal for it, like today. So
I would not do that.
yeah, there's there's a lot of shit that has to just be sorted out with it. But anyway,
How many games do you even need to recommend first before you actually
10.
like
10.
10.
Like,
Yeah,
it could just be people just being like, all right, I only want to recommend like 3 games, so
I just spammed a bunch of other ones on there just to make sure I got in. Yeah.
and that's why Barbie Dreamhouse Party is the most reviewed and most revered game on Steam.
I don't even know at this point. I imagine the tags are wacky, hilarious.
Oh boy.
Let's find out. Are you ready for comedy? Are you not ready for
I
this?
hope
level
one of the
comedy?
tags is pink, and that's it.
You're not ready for this comedy, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's spelled like the rap artist Pink.
MMORPG.
Yep.
Point and click. Actually, these tags are surprisingly okay. Like, most of this, like, simulation, female protagonist, casual, family-friendly, point and click, single player. And then MMO, which is obviously wrong. It's like, okay, well, most of those are actually fine. So there you go. But I don't know. I'm now actually curious about Falling Skies, the video game, just because of how much it looks like XCOM. It's probably awful.
You have to try
let's be
it.
frank. I will have to try
play it.
It's probably awful. All right, let's move on to the news, shall we? Let's talk a little bit about the news. Oh. So PlayStation Home's being shut down.
Right?
No.
I know.
Said no one. Said no one.
Your second life is gone forever.
Didn't you have to buy clothes and items in that? You did,
Yes.
didn't you?
Yeah,
so
it was a super
they're all disappearing
microtransaction
then.
thing.
Great. So your virtual clothes have now vanished into the ether forever.
I believe people were able to mod stuff and put it in there as well. I remember seeing like articles about how weird Second Life got
PlayStation
Home.
Home.
No,
got
that's
for a while.
accurate. No, that's accurate though. You were right.
They're similar.
But yeah, no, I remember like it getting like absolutely insane, but like only the people using it were people who were selling things and making money on it.
Yeah. Home was somewhat weird, to say the least. And apparently it just became it was basically a chat room. That's all it was, really. Chat room
Well,
that you
that's
paid
all.
money to buy virtual shit for.
That's mostly all that Second Life wound up being too. Is Second Life still a thing? Do people
I
still
don't know if it was just the chat room, Dodger. There are some seedier
I don't think it was
parts.
just a chat room.
Oh, boy.
Seedier parts of Second Life that
Let-
you
let-
I'm saying for the most part.
Okay. Now,
It still exists.
I still don't believe it's for the most part. I'm sorry.
No, Second Life is definitely not what you think it is.
Your world, your imagination.
Oh, no.
God.
Oh, no.
God, guys. If you go to secondlife.com, one of the first things is explore now with the Oculus Rift.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Now you too can have giant dongs flying at your face in virtual reality.
I don't.
Brand
Do
new
you want to stumble
avatars.
across a furry orgy? Don't worry, we've got plenty of
You will.
those.
Oh, you will.
Yeah.
Does that blue alien have 10 dicks? It does.
It does.
Simulated here.
It's way too accurate to the Second Life experience. You know too much.
I read something awful. There was threads dedicated to Second Life. You know,
Pretty much.
there
Yeah.
were some of the best threads on that fucking site. I gotta say,
I'd
that
like
and
to
the
see
Tim
Dodger go
Buckley
on Second Life.
experience. Like,
Can we get a Dodger goes to Second Life playthrough where it's just
No.
you in Second Life?
that's a
It would be
terrible
so
idea.
censored. The entire thing, like just a big censored bar and just Dodger's character walking
Good.
around.
That would be
Good.
so intense. It would be a Vice documentary. I don't know if you want to do that.
Play
Some
for
people
free.
get sent to war zones. Dodger
I'm
gets sent to
clicking
Second
it. Play
Life.
for free. Oh, now I get to choose my avatar.
Oh God, no!
no.
Oh God, stop!
They're all gross looking.
Yeah, that's Second Life for you. So, moving swiftly on, the first, I suppose, Nintendo Pokemon game to be on a non-Nintendo system is coming out. The Pokemon TCG Online is coming to iPad.
They at least picked a good game to do that with, because the trading card game's great.
Yeah, it is.
Booby Butts is taken as a username.
Oh, that's a shock.
Booby butts.
Booby Butts.
I can guarantee, keep adding a number to the end of that, and it'll take quite a while to find one that's not taken.
One.
Oh no.
Apparently, the big problem with that game, according to some Reddit comments, is that if you play custom decks, you play in this unrestricted mode and then get completely wrecked by people with really, like, powerful cards and shit. So I guess it doesn't have a proper ranking system? I don't know. I mean, Hearthstone tends to do a decent job of at least keeping you away from that.
Is this done internal at Pokemon Company, or is it just like a third party that they're working with?
I think it was done internally at Pokemon Company because it was all tied into. I mean, it's all being promoted on the official Pokemon channel. It was all tied into the actual physical TCG. Initially, in the beta, the only way you could get cards is to buy actual packs.
And type in the codes on the
Yes.
side?
Yeah, you
I
kind
think
of scan them in.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think you still
years
do
ago,
that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Did that.
Yeah, actually, I think you still do that by the looks of it. I'm looking at the trailer for it right now. I'd show it, but you know how Nintendo gets. I'm not showing Nintendo footage on
Yeah.
this damn channel. They go insane when you do that. It's like unlock digital cards with real-world TCG purchases. I actually remember when this was in beta, I just went on eBay and bought like 40 of those cards because no one fucking wanted them, so I got them for like $3, and I just inputted them. I guess they're still doing it that way, but I mean, the game is good. Like, the Pokemon TCG is not a bad trading card game. It's kind of simple, I've got to admit, but the implementation seems pretty good. And it always seemed like it would be the kind of thing that really needed to be on iPad, but then they took so long that Hearthstone came along and Duel of Champions came along and all that stuff, and now I guess it's kind of less relevant.
I don't know. I feel like based on branding alone, it'll still make its money back easily.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
How much is it even selling for?
Well, it'll be free. It's free.
Oh.
Yeah, so it'll get a lot of players.
Oh, right, because you have to buy the physical cards to get more usually.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
which is kind of strange. I still don't know if they've put... Because they say you can earn more cards by playing more, but I don't know what they mean by that. And if you have to actually buy a bunch of physical cards and you can't buy in-game, that sounds janky as hell.
It probably means in-game currency that you can just get booster packs or like a card for winning or something
I
like
guess so.
that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, well, it's just
Did you?
interesting.
Did you? You're doing the smile and nod. Did you actually find it?
The booby butts.
No, Dodger's just trying to make a character.
I made my character. Her name is Booby Butts. She's covered in tattoos, and she's got zeros for O's in booby so that it would get past the censor.
I can't believe they actually censored something like that and yet allow quite literal porn to exist in that game. Yeah, that's an accurate simulation of what most of it is, apparently.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. Tune in. Maybe Thursday for me to stream Second
That's the
Life.
thing you probably shouldn't promise.
Don't
probably
do
shouldn't
that.
promise that.
Do it. Do it. You need.
For like a
terrible
hot
idea.
minute. For like a hot minute,
You
guys.
need to do it.
hot,
You'll be
hot
kicked
minute.
off of Twitch immediately.
Probably.
It'll be fine.
Oh, dear.
They're just expressing themselves.
Through doing it.
So did you
To the
read the
dongles.
rather amusing article that was actually on IGN entitled Battlefield Hardline Will Work? I like that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Guys.
sounds good.
In case you were worried.
It will work at launch. Visceral promises. Honest. I guess that's what you get for the bullshit of Battlefield 4. So let me read. This is actually, I think is off. Sorry, I'm trying to follow the blog spam because, game sites just like post news from other places, and I'm trying to find the
Right.
original source so that I can credit them properly. I think, it was actually Game Revolution seems to be the original source of this, not IGN. At the Tokyo Game Show, he had a chat with Ian Millum, the creative director of Visceral Games. What you're basically asking is your game going to work? And the answer is yes, it's gonna work. We actually started on this more than a year before Battlefield 4 came out. It's in pretty great shape now. We had a very successful beta. Did you? Like, really? I mean, did anyone come away from Hardline's beta and say, damn, I can't wait for that?
Yeah, I don't think
There
so.
was a little.
I didn't see a lot of it.
Who?
Well, I mean, like, you got to keep in mind, like, this is what team is it that's working on this? What are they usually known for again? Because it's not Dice.
Visceral? Yeah, it's Visceral.
Visceral,
working
yeah.
on it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Dead Space.
I don't know.
Real
I feel
Dead
like
Space
there's
team.
just some interest in seeing what they could do with it. Because I mean, they used to do Mercenaries as well, right? And that was an interesting game. So
Did
I
they do
feel like,
Max? I thought that was Pandemic.
oh, maybe you're right. Shoot, I think I got that backwards.
Yeah,
I
no,
have a-
that's
I have a question.
Yes.
You said they've been working on Hardline for longer than they were working on Battlefield 4.
They weren't working on Battlefield 4. Visceral didn't do Battlefield 4. That was Dice.
I know, but what was the quote then? They've been working on it since before Battlefield 4 was released?
Yeah, so in other words, they're trying to dispel the rumor that Battlefield Hardline had a 12-month development cycle, basically. That it was just like, hey, we just got going. But if it's been going on for longer than that, then can you please tell me why it looks so goddamn similar to Battlefield 4? I have to ask you that. Because it really does.
Girl, I don't know.
just girl. I don't know.
Girl, please.
If that's what they said in the interview, I would be very happy with that interview. It's
You're like, could you give us an update on the development cycle
I
for this
don't know.
game and where you feel like it's got... Girl, I don't know.
I don't know.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some people are
wish.
calling it Battlefield Flatline. I don't really blame them, but
Oh, man.
the burns.
The soup burns.
Yeah, almost as good as what I called Space Station 13 Space Station DF9 13, whatever it is. Space-based DF9. I keep getting mixed up between the game that it's copying and the game that actually is. Space-based DF9, I decided to rename it Broken Wage. I think that sounded like a pretty good idea, considering.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but it's so sad that they have to say, yeah, the game's gonna work, guys, honest, because Battlefield 4 was a fucking mess, and still to some degree they just actually released a patch for it today, I think. They're still trying to get that fucking game working properly.
Do you still play that game a lot, Jesse?
Nope. I have moved on in my life. Instead, now I play shitty games like Destiny.
There's a game that definitely doesn't work. Oh, man.
You've made some poor life choices, Jesse.
Oh yeah, no,
That's
I know how
really
to pick 'em.
every
I know how
choice
to
in
pick 'em.
Joseph's life.
All my life choices are poor.
Hey, I've said it before, man. The way to play Battlefield is to play the complete version of the last Battlefield. So when Hardline comes out, I'll play Battlefield 4, and probably by then it's most likely works. Hopefully.
What if it's not? What if they just said screw it and they're working on what is DICE even working on now? Mirror's Edge 2?
Mirror's Edge 2 and probably Star Wars Battlefront 3, right?
Right. That's both of them. Oh no.
You know what?
Oh god.
Hopes are high for Battlefront. Please don't screw that up.
If they do, I feel that people will march on the HQ and burn it to the ground. So I think they understand how it's going to be.
Hopes are high.
Expectations are ludicrous. Disappointment is real. Well, yeah, so is that. Anything else on the news front that anyone really wants to talk about? Don't think there's been that much.
I think it's been a quiet week, more or less.
Reasonably.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that people are still like speculating and talking about are like Titan got canceled, but why?
Yeah. Oh,
Why
also,
are people surprised about that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're not going to see anything of a game for 7 fucking years, chances are it's vaporware, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like even like starting a new MMO now has always been difficult. Like, look at how much hassle Old Republic went through. Project Copernicus. What was the other major release that was an MMO that got canceled that wasn't Titan?
Do we
Something
know?
else recent?
Do we know any other MMORPGs coming down the pipeline that?
EverQuest next.
EverQuest, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably about it. Like,
I
don't
think
know,
that's it.
I feel like the traditional form of MMO is, at least in the Western market, is really just kind of starting to die off. Like that, people they're so expensive to make.
What about the Korean market, like Terra and stuff like that? Are we going to see? Is that still like profitable?
Yeah,
I think they are. Yeah.
There's a list of top PC Bang games that they like do every couple of months, and if I recall correctly, most of them are MMOs. And although League of Legends is really, really high up there as well. Yeah,
that's
so
a phenomenon. So
the last list I found was from 2013. They've got Aeon Online's there, Blade and Soul is there, Lineage, the original Lineage.
wait, what?
Yeah, the original Lineage is still extremely popular. If you
Yeah,
can
that
actually
still
believe
blows my mind.
Yeah. So there's like 3 or 4 MMOs that are on the top 10 most played in the PC Bang LAN centers over there. So that is a real thing. So yeah, I mean, MMOs are still popular in Asian markets, absolutely. But I think in Western markets, they keep falling on their face. You know, fucking WildStar's having problems. Arcade apparently had a really troubled launch. It seems like, why would you even make one right now?
Yeah, it's really sad to me because by the time MMOs get their shit together and are actually like a good, decent game, everybody's moved on. It's not even on the radar anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's always a problem. You have to start years in advance to make an MMO of all games. So, like, by the time, like, the market's changed so much since, like, Titan was developed.
Yeah. Yeah, that probably had a lot to do with it. Like, when they started developing Titan, they developed it for a different marketplace, and then they're like, oh, well, we've got to retool it. And it's like, I don't know, but we don't know what we're doing now, so...
It's okay, guys, we're starting over. Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Never mind.
Yeah.
That works great for all games that happens to.
Yeah. How well is Elder Scrolls Online currently doing? I'm going to go with probably not very, I would imagine.
Yeah,
That was
I
a
don't
very
know
high-budget
anybody
game.
who's still playing that game.
I forgot that even came out. I haven't heard any buzz about that in months.
Yeah.
They
Jesse,
screwed
did
the
you even
pooch on
play
that
it
one.
post-release?
They really. Oh yeah, about 3 days worth. That falls under sore disappointment. I like watched that, but you knew it was happening. Like if you watched the development of that game, you saw the choices they made that killed it. And so I wish them all the best, and I hope whatever they create next is great. But you watched. Like you can see my enjoyment. If you go back to like last year during the podcast, my hypeness for that game dwindled as time went on because it was just like every decision you're making, you are not making good ones. Like they're not good decisions. And so who knows why? I'm sure like 90% of it was business decisions. Like somewhere someone was like, we don't have enough money for X. And so they killed what they thought they could do. But
Although
it wasn't
2 months
good.
ago, they claimed that they had 770,000 subs. That was two months ago. I assume that's probably gone down since. But
Dude,
they've
the people who are still playing Guild Wars 2 have been really happy with it lately.
well, I mean, that game's also, you don't have to pay for a subscription, so I guess that helps.
Right.
Yeah.
I think at this point, it's kind of like WildStar. The people playing it are like, I love WildStar. It's great. Well, it's like, yeah, if you're still playing it, of course, it's been so long since the release that if you're still paying for it on a monthly basis, you must enjoy it.
Oh,
Right?
totally.
Same thing with WoW. If people are playing WoW, you don't hear people go like, I hate it. Those people have left.
But I mean, there's also a lot of MMO glut now too, because there's so many on the market compared to like when WoW started. Like there weren't many big ones at the time, so it's just kind of a case of just. And even then, like indie game development's picked up, so there's like the marketplace for games in general has just gotten so much exponentially bigger that it you have so many options. You can't do everything anymore. You can't stick the time into a long game like you could.
Yeah. Honestly, it seems like MMOs are just becoming irrelevant in terms of what they can do, because like 10 years ago when you played an MMO, there was nothing else like it. You couldn't play something with that many players. But now it seems like multiplayer and even passive multiplayer is being like slowly integrated into things. Is Destiny an MMO? I mean, technically it isn't, but it still has most of the MMO functionality in it. And I feel like a lot of the stuff that people like is going to be implemented into other games.
I feel like you could probably safely classify Destiny as an MMO.
But doesn't it not have those areas where you can just run around with other people? I mean, most of it's instanced, right?
No, there are some areas you can do that.
Okay.
No, but and this is another inherent problem. Every planet has that where you can just land on the planet and run around and do missions and stuff and interact with other people. Like, not story missions, but just like rep grinding, essentially. It's rep grinding. And so you can go to the planets, land, grind out some rep, go maybe stand in front of a cave and shoot at a cave and grind mobs or whatever. But the problem is all the stories are on that planet instanced. So you're repeating going through several places, like, if you want to get to a story, you've got to go through the same place like 5 times. And you can't land in front of that place unless you're on the mission. So if you want to go back to the area you were just at, you have to do like, I'm going to go do this, and I have to take my speeder bike and go over there. Fuck that game. God damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything in the future outside of maybe Eternal Crusade, which seems to be more combat focused than anything else, actually being worthy of your time. And I mean, I'm sick of MMOs in general. I like the idea of there being lots of players involved in things, but the compromises you have to make to the game and to the way that the game tells its story to get that, outside of like big shooters, and even big shooters like PlanetSide 2 have to make compromises to actually support that many players, and that game's notorious for bad performance, as was the previous one. It's like, it seems like you've got to do so much to get that number of players. I'm like, you know what? I'd just rather play a cool 5v5 game that actually plays well,
Yeah.
It's a bit sad. But hey. All right. So, I think that's about it. Let's do some releases, shall we? And then we can wrap up the show. Sounds like a good idea, shall we?
Sure.
All right.
Today, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor came out for PS4, Xbox 360, and PS3.
And it also came out on PC.
Yes, that as well. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax came out for PS3 and Xbox 360.
Oh no!
It is. The visual novel crossed with a fighting game.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's a good fighting game, though. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
I like Arc System Works.
Oh yeah, everything they make is golden. You see what I did there?
I see it now.
There we go. It's a shame it's not on next-gen machines. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, but because it is a 2D fighting game, but it just means I have to plug in my PS3 again, which is just a pain in the arse. So,
So, F it.
Yeah.
Forza Horizon 2 for Xbox One and Xbox 360.
Cars.
Moving on. Natural Doctrine for PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and Vita. I don't know what that is.
I have no idea, but it's apparently not very well reviewed.
Oh.
It was reviewed on PlayStation Lifestyle, and the name of it was Patience is Tested.
Oh no, I see it. Yep.
It's a strategy RPG of some sort. Yeah.
But we have pictures, images.
Naturaru Dokutorin.
Doesn't look great.
Pure Solar, isn't that the Genesis game that was made a couple years ago?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
that does sound.
Pure Solar
Pure
and
Solar-
the
yeah,
Great
yeah, you're right.
Architects,
You're right. It was.
Which is for a PlayStation 3
Yeah, because
network.
they made it on the
and
fuck. It was a
PC.
homebrew Genesis game that they released in 2010.
Yeah, and I guess now it's actually on current gen.
Wait,
Yeah, they're
what does
releasing
that
a
have to do with
PS Solar
natural
HD.
doctrine? What is happening?
We've moved.
It doesn't. We
We've
skipped
moved
ahead.
on. We've moved on.
Have we fast forward in time? What is?
Sorry, that was my bad. I got
Was I
digital
abducted by
audio.
aliens for about 30 seconds? What happened? All of a sudden, I'm looking at this like that's nothing like that game, and then I realized that that's on the list, but it's 2 ahead.
That's
Look,
my bad. Sorry, I thought I missed a game, and I thought we had skipped over straight
Oh,
up to
it's
that.
all good.
But yeah, you're totally right. PS Solar, the HD version, is going to be available in like Ouya and all sorts of things like that. It's
Ooh. Yeah.
it's interesting. They basically made a Mega Drive or Genesis game in 2010, and they actually made it for that platform, and then it's being ported to things that people actually own now. So there was that. That's kind of a cool story, as weird as it is. It's going out for PC too, so I might give it a shot.
Chariot is coming out for PlayStation 4.
Yes, I've heard this is it's a 2D couch co-op adventure platformer in which 2 players must work together to guide a chariot.
Ooh.
And that might be interesting.
don't just type in chariot to Google image search. You won't find it.
Shit, what are you going to get for that?
I didn't mean to. It just hit me
Yeah.
how stupid that was. I was like,
Apparently,
oh.
it's very physics-based, so there's a bunch of weird shit that happens. It almost seems like kind of Happy Wheels-esque with 2 players.
Oh, God. Okay, and then next is 2 games, Invisimals: The Lost Kingdom and Invisimals: The Alliance. What are these?
Excellent.
Invisimals originally, I think, was on the PSP, and it used like the camera to find things within the world. It was kind of an augmented reality thing. And I don't think anyone ever considered it good. I could be wrong there, and this latest iteration appears to be no exception. But yeah, it's an
Oh my
augmented
God.
reality game.
Oh, amazing. Invisimals.
Invisimals.
Apparently, it sold well enough to get sequels. So
I do have my own Invisimal here.
No, it's mine.
No.
No, you can't have him. He's mine.
Yes, I have my own Invisimal right here.
oh,
Oh.
There you go.
Don't let him in the stream.
No. So this is Tai Chi. This is our new one, by the way.
Aw.
Yeah.
adorable.
And,
3
yes,
dogs. You're a crazy dog dad before I'm a crazy cat mom.
Indeed. Apparently so.
Yeah.
Yes. She's insane.
So now
Yes.
Jesse has to get goldfish. Is that what we've got? So you've got all
Yeah,
3.
he needs 3 goldfish, and then he'll be crazy goldfish grandpa.
Be careful with you. Eh? Come on. All right, you go back to mommy. There you go.
I don't think I've ever seen you so unimpressed, Jesse.
You didn't get to say goodbye.
Goodbye. Yes. We don't. I don't want to keep him in my office too long because apparently he has explosive diarrhea right now. So this.
Oh, good.
Easy.
That's why I don't have a pet.
Let's wait.
Right there.
No, let's not. No. Hi. Please take it away before it poos on my chair.
Tai Chi, poo.
No. No.
Tai Chi, poo.
No. Off you go. Yes. Yes.
Oh
This
my
is
god, that's gonna be a
adorable.
GIF on the internet.
Yeah. Puppies.
On October 2nd,
Not particularly hygienic.
Castlevania Dracula X comes out for Wii U.
What? I
Virtual
assume.
console. Virtual
Yeah,
console.
but I was going to say we need to alter this list so that we don't have confusing ideas like the Wii U has video games. Like we need to get over that idea immediately.
Hyrule Warriors came out.
I guess it has that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't Nintendo's big plan like 1 release a month next year or something like that?
Cool. We'll see if
But
any of them are any
they-
good.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Well, Bayonetta's out this month, isn't it? Like in October anyway.
Yeah, it's like 20th,
Yeah.
near
Oh.
the end of October.
Oh god, I've got to wait that long. Jesus. Oh.
And their Smash.
Oh yeah, no one's excited about that. Whatever.
Nope, not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan of
While
that.
you're,
Yeah.
John, while you're like literally wearing a shirt that says Smash.
Don't point out the hypocrisy.
Yeah, Smash Brothers for Nintendo 3DS. I'm probably just going to wait for the Wii U version. I don't fancy playing that on a little bleh.
I've realized I don't like from the demo quite how it plays on the 3DS, but I'm still gonna get it because all the modes in it interest me, like Smash Run. Playing those demos of Smash Run at like events was really good, and I think that alone might make it worth the purchase.
Nice. And finally, on October 5th, Skylanders Trap Team for PS4.
That's the worst. That's the worst name for Skylanders Trap Team. Worst name for.
Also, the Sherlock Holmes game is out. It came out at midnight. This
Not
list.
on the list. Yep. This was. I'm going to blame Chris entirely for this because, as we discovered 10 minutes before the podcast, it's like, fuck, it's Tuesday. And he's the one that gathers all the information. So it's like, yeah, that's probably why. So yeah, it's missing a bunch of stuff as a direct result of that. But it's okay, guys, because Fallen Skies, the video game, is out now. Also,
Yay!
Payday 2 Hotline Miami is out.
Yeah, actually, I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I funnily enough, I never got into Payday. Never. So, like, I feel like trying to start now would be very hard.
You need a group of people to get into it. If you get into it solo, you will hate it. Yeah. But I was lucky. I had friends got me in at the right time, and it's been a great experience.
Yeah. Also, Rack came out, interestingly enough, which is a kind of old-school shooter with a kind of cel-shaded graphic style. That's been in development for a long time. So I hope that doesn't suck. We'll see. And I think that's about it. Is there anything else that's coming out? There's a game called Super Win the Game that's coming out tomorrow.
Great.
Guess what? It's another retro-themed platformer.
What? They don't make those anymore.
God. Please save me from more retro-themed platformers.
Retro-themed platformers.
I get like 10 of them a week. There's also a game called Star Wars Just the Tip.
Star Wars.
That game is so
Star
good.
Wars.
Yeah, that's
Star
actually
Wars
pretty good.
That's an amazing game.
Star Wars. You play a Star Wars TV.
Oh, it's a
Star Wars.
multiplayer space narwhal fighting game. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course it
You
is.
poke each other's hearts with your sticks.
I see.
It's a narwhal jousting game in space.
Yeah.
But just
it's great.
the tip.
I see.
Ball.
I'm glad they
what's
got
the name
to
of
keep
that level?
title.
There's a level with balls everywhere, and I keep wanting to say that the level's called Balls Deep, but I don't think it is.
It probably is. If they call the
might
game
be.
Just the Tip, it's probably
Yeah,
called Balls
it
Deep.
might
I
be
think
called
it's safe
Balls
to say.
Deep. That's my favorite map though. Where they're just like little toy balls everywhere that you can hide under.
Crazy. All right, well, I think that about wraps us up for the show, doesn't it? So I think the only thing left to do is to shill incessantly for our respective YouTube channels. So why don't we start with our guest, Mr. ProtonJon? What you got
I
coming
got
up?
it. Right now, I'm just doing like a casual playthrough on my channel. I'm doing Yoshi's Island, just a nice game I grew up on Super Nintendo. On Runaway Guys, we're currently doing Rayman Origins.
Great game.
And we're finishing that. We're gonna be. Oh, it's not good multiplayer. That's
Oh,
the
is
only
it?
thing.
I've never played the multiplayer.
No, you imagine a platforming game where you attack your opponent, or you're playing friends and you knock them into enemies and traps.
That sounds fantastic. That sounds like a co-optional play.
I know you want to complete
Within
it.
reason. Within reason. I stream twice a week on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ProtonJon. I streamed last night. We ended up playing Hyrule Warriors, Narc for Xbox.
Knock.
Yeah, I'm trying
What a
to think of what else
classic.
we even played last night. Tamagotchi for Game Boy.
Nice.
Okay.
What I do is I just pull random games from my game collection and they vote on what we play. So it usually ends up being something stupid. We played crosswords and personal trainer walking on another night. So.
Oh, dear.
And Shadow the Hedgehog was last week. So
Okay. Oh,
Perfect.
Oh, dear.
basically, I hate myself is what I'm saying.
You will do anything for money, right?
Exactly.
Good. Good. Dodger, what are you coming up this week? What's going on?
Okay, I think that we're either 6 or 7 endings in on Hatoful Boyfriend, so we're continuing with that to get all the endings. The very first episode of the Sherlock playthrough went up as we started this podcast, so that is up, and I'm going to be doing a playthrough of that because Sherlock. And then, other than that, Swords and Stitches, I believe, will be coming back this week, so that's exciting. And that's all on Press Art to Continue. If you would like to watch my vlogs there on youtube.com/dexterity bonus, where I talk about my cats and drink coffee, and it's wonderful. And on all the social medias, I'm at dexbonus, DEXBONUS. I also stream about 3 times a week. So on twitch.tv/dexterity bonus, if you'd like to follow me on there, I would appreciate it.
Great. Jesse, what's coming up?
Hey, tomorrow is the start of Coxtober, which means scurry games.
Ooh.
So brace yourself. I won't do a scare cam though. F your business. Coxtober.
That's the best
And-
you've got. That's the level of quality you've come to expect from this show.
It's
good. I like it.
The new banner is really good, guys. So that is coming, and then we'll finish up Hyrule Warriors, and then we'll move on to other things. What? I don't freaking know. Look, it's Coxtober. Scurry Games is coming, so brace yourself.
All right. I consider myself suitably braced to not watch any of it.
It's Scurry TV. It's so Scurry TV.
Scurry Games.
Too spooky for me.
Too spoopy.
Too spoopy 5 me.
So spoopy.
Indeed. What's going on my channel? I'm gonna be honest, I don't fucking know. Like, I spent the last couple of days trying to get the stuff sorted out for Shadow of Mordor, and I finally was able to release the damn video. So now I'm like at my wit's end. They're like, oh, I thought that was what I was aiming for. Now I don't have a goal anymore in my life, so I must play Falling Skies the game. So I will spend $40 American to check out Falling Skies.
It's $40?
$40. Yeah. Legitimately, they are not kidding with that. So I'll have a look at that. I'll probably have a look at Rack, and I mean, there's so many things. I keep telling people, like, I'm going to look at this, and I never fucking do, because there's so much stuff to do. But it'll be the usual kind of stuff that's going on. I do need to eventually do the proper look at Vanishing of Ethan Carter, although I have a feeling my opinion is going to be very similar to the stream that I did. But yeah, I'll play a bit more of that, and I'm still trying to get Wasteland 2 done. I'm going to play 20 hours of Wasteland 2 to even consider getting any of that done. And I might stream a bit of Dota because they've changed things around a bit, so that seems interesting, and Phantom Laz is apparently not so awful anymore. But it's also entirely possible that none of this shit will happen, so just bear that in mind. But my channel, if you wish to go there, is youtube.com/cynicalbrit, and my latest video is the Shadow of Mordor video, and thanks for the support on that. It's doing really, 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 really well right now, so that's great. Thank you. Also, if you want to follow me on Steam for the curator list, you can do that. You should be able to find me under Cynical Brit Gaming.
I'm 5 down from him on the list.
Yep.
You should. Everyone's already following him. Don't get in with the
if
cool
you're
kids.
5 down on the list, doesn't that mean you're just off the front page? Because
he's on the front page.
10 on the front page.
He's on it.
I'm the Leaf, and then tomorrow I'll be whatever the October avatar is, because we don't have that yet. I'll be that. Okay. I change, baby. I'm always changing. You don't know where I stand. Am I left? Am I right? You don't know. You don't know.
It's gonna be a pumpkin, isn't it?
Last year it was me going like with like a scare cam thing. So this year I could be Slimer from the Ghostbusters. You never know.
Well, that's right. It was like a cartoon Jesse with like a flashlight.
He's like
against his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows what it'll be this year? Watch yourselves, kids. Watch yourselves.
My list isn't up, so don't look for it.
We should go to a break. Wait, no, let's end. Fuck it, let's end.